Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
You're never too old to learn something new, especially when it concerns your golden years. Join North Shore Capital Group at their retirement educational classes held at local colleges in your community. Each class is an interactive workshop that's held over 2 sessions and includes a workbook for you to keep and follow. Instructor Victor Rigoni will provide you with the tools and guidance to help you reach your personal finance retirement goals. At the end of the full class, you'll receive an opportunity to book an independent, complimentary consultation so that you can implement a proper retirement strategy. It's never too late to educate yourself about retirement. Call North Shore Capital Group, 312-260-7929. That's 312-260-7929 to find a workshop near you. North Shore Capital Group Incorporated, an independent firm with securities offered through Summit Brokerage Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, and advisory services offered through Summit Financial Group, Inc., a registered investment advisor. 847-735-9200, 250 East Illinois Road, Suite 201, Lake Forest, Illinois, 60045.
509. Let's get an update on your ride to work this early morning in our AM 560 Traffic Center, the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. Adams Tollway westbound, I-90 west of Elmhurst Road. Got a crash blocking the right lane. Downtown Chicago, Streeterville area. There's a crash on Illinois Street. That area between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive, approaching Navy Pier. Elsewhere, the expressways and tollways are wet, otherwise okay. Visibilities are reduced due to some fog. Having said that, looking at flight boards right now, we're seeing almost no delays at O'Hare Midway with arrivals and departures. Traffic is a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. We're here of LifeLock. Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, morning fog with a touch of rain, otherwise cloudy and mild, high 44. An evening shower around, otherwise a cloudy night, low 42. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high 56. Then tomorrow night, an evening shower in spots, otherwise cloudy with a low 40. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
38 and light rain at O'Hare. 36 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It begins today. It begins.
Which term do you like? Hours from power? Obama's last hours? I mean, it all game on, and people are already waiting in line
This
to get scanned before they go into the inauguration.
The inauguration festivities began how I enjoy all Republican presidential inaugurations, which is pepper spraying socialists. That's a way to kick it off. I mean, John Voight was at the Lincoln Memorial was nice, but I prefer if I had my druthers, and apparently I do, the clashes between fascist know-nothings and police officers outside the deplorable for Trump supporters at the National Press Club last night. Did you see that?
No, you know what? I was too busy watching Alec Baldwin and Robert De Niro in D.C.
Oh,
I mean, in New York.
The alternative
Screaming.
inaugural ball.
We're patriots, too!
Things a patriot doesn't have to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened? How many people were taken down?
Oh, I didn't see the body count as it were, but there are about 200 protesters shouting, "Let us through, the whole world is watching," marching behind a banner calling the new Trump administration illegitimate and fascist. Again, completely unbounded by their own hypocrisy on that, using that term. And they tussle with cops towards as they've tried to make their way down to Trump's hotel. I mean, it's kind of a non-event. It's just nice to see. It's nice to see those fascists get pepper sprayed a little bit.
Well, today's a big day. Obviously, the day that many of you have been waiting for. Are you excited? I always get nostalgic and wax poetic during inauguration.
Oh, really? You're going to wax poetic? Please. The floor is yours.
Well, I just love the pomp and circumstance, how they go from
perhaps
the
a
Blair
haiku?
House to St. John's, and they have a prayer there at 8:30 in this morning, and then they walk.
That's not 575.
What?
I thought you were going to do a haiku or something in iambic pentameter.
No, I'm not doing that. Thank you. I'll let you do that.
All right.
No, I love the tradition of it. How they're waking up at the Blair House, and then he and Melania and the family are going to go to St. John's, say a prayer, then go to have high tea, or just tea, I should say, with the Obamas, and then together they're all going to go to the inauguration, and then they're going to have a farewell ceremony for the Obamas when they hop on the airplane and then go to Andrews Air Force Base, which I love to see that. But I think all eyes are going to be on Hillary Clinton today, too, who's going to be there, obviously in a lot of pain, I'm sure. But good for her that she sucked it up and she's going to attend the inauguration.
Yeah, there'll be a lot fewer eyes on her than there were on Steve Mnuchin's fiancé during his confirmation hearing yesterday. I'll tell you that.
Hey-oh! Yeah, that was good.
Before we
so
before we close out the
Jeez.
Obama administration,
yes.
We do have to address
What?
your uncontrollable sobbing this morning. Yeah, I know.
I don't really want to talk about it right now. I'm sick about Obama not commuting the sentence of Rod Blagojevich.
Well, here's the good news. He didn't commute the sentence of Denny Hastert either.
Oh, I didn't think that was in the pipeline.
Well,
did Denny Hastert really? Did his family and did Denny Hastert write a letter asking for a pardon?
No, he just wants his money back.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get caught, so he just... he didn't get away with it. He got caught, so he wants his money back. That's the Chicago way.
I had hoped since he told that hack job, Carol Maureen over there at NBC, that we'll see what gets to my desk. And he didn't say no, so the family kept their prayers. Oh, I really don't want to cry. I kept praying, thinking that he is going to...
Why are you crying?
Because...
Why are you so tethered to Rod Blagojevich? I don't understand. I mean, it's interesting.
Served. He served 5 years. That's enough. He's not a threat to society. He's not like Oscar Riviera, who's going to get out in May, and he's a terrorist. He had bomb-making materials in his North Side apartment.
Right.
The FALN.
The FALN terrorist, not FLAN.
No, not or flan, which I had for dessert.
Yeah, that's like a little pudding thing.
With a little glaze on top.
FALN, not FAL.
I'm sorry,
FLAN.
FALN.
That's
but
the
I thought
terrorist
since his sentence was that he was going to be out, that Rod Blagojevich for sure was going to be one of the 330 whose sentence he commuted yesterday.
I understand the intellectual argument for the Blagojevich commutation. What I don't understand is the emotional connection, the emotional response. And I would say
because I see his kids cry in church, okay? And because I see 2 daughters without a father. And he's not a threat to society. And no money exchanged hands. And Jesse Jackson Jr. got a slap on the wrist compared to what Blago's going through. He's not going to get out until 2025.
Completely different things.
Well, they both wanted the same seat, or they were both haggling about the same seat.
Well, I mean, that's not why Jesse Jackson Jr. went to prison.
No, but that's what led the feds onto him to start an investigation, which led to his arrest.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, actually. That's not clear at all that one had anything to do with the other.
I have a friend who's an FBI agent who was assigned to Jesse Jackson Jr.
Well, that connection has never been made. So
that Jesse Jackson Jr. wanted Obama Senate seat?
Oh, my goodness. No, the connection has never been made that Jesse Jackson's interest in a Senate seat 6 years earlier is what led the feds to find out he was a Bruce Lee collector, Bruce Lee memorabilia collector, and was using campaign funds illicitly to do so. That's the thing. So here's the pullback, though. It's fascinating to me, and it's such a commentary on Illinois politics and why we have the political culture we have. We've talked about Blagojevich, and we talked about Hastert prior to his guilty plea and being sentenced.
And speaking of Hastert, he wants his money.
As I just
1.7 million.
Yeah. I didn't get away with it, so I want my money back.
I want my money back. That came out yesterday. They filed.
By the way, just as a quick aside, I mean, just a little bit of a legal perspective on that. If he's claiming it was extortion and that's why he wants his money back, then he's conceding it was an illegal contract. And so the court is not going to take up an illegal contract. That would be like me, hypothetically speaking, going to a judge and saying, my bookie didn't pay me. Right. I want my bookie to pay me, force him to pay me. That doesn't work. The courts don't entertain illegal contracts. So, I mean, it's shameless in addition to specious legal reasoning. But the reaction we get from people, they're so passionate about how many years behind bars Rod Blagojevich should serve. They're so passionate about whether Denny Hastert should serve time because it was just these laws, these structured withdrawal laws that shouldn't even be laws. Rallying to the defense of Denny Hastert and Rod Blagojevich in any material way. Why? I understand the intellectual arguments to some extent. Why so concerned about them? And what does that say about Illinois' political culture? It's bizarre to me. I mean, I suppose I could surmise that people voted for Blagojevich and voted for Denny Hastert, so they want to rationalize to themselves that, oh, they're not so bad. Oh, they're just like everybody else. I'm not, I wasn't completely suckered. But otherwise, I don't get it. Well, if the passion that we generate talking about Blagojevich's sentence being commuted from 14 years to 5 or 6.
Yeah, he's 5. I mean, it was 5 years in December. I think time served.
Or Denny Hastert with respect to structured withdrawals in his case. Boy, if we could generate that passion about public policy in this city and state, we may have something going here.
Well, Denny Hastert molested little boys.
That's not why he's
in prison. I know.
George in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Amy, I can't understand how you could say that he should be let out. I mean, this is, especially in this state, here's a guy that violated at the highest level every law possible with that office, gets caught, and now people feel bad for him. I just can't understand it, and then people wonder why this state is in a financial
okay.
death spiral.
George,
yeah,
I went
George.
to his resentencing hearing, and I think he showed a lot more remorse than he's ever shown in his life. And there were 100+ letters from inmates saying, he helped me get my GED. We learned Shakespeare, that what a model prisoner he's been. And I don't feel like, it's $37,000 a year to keep him in prison.
Oh, now it's just a financial
Well, now we have to play for
consideration.
El Chapo, too, because El Chapo's in New York today, and now we have to foot the bill for his prison stay. It's just, there's another home confinement, electronic tethering, anything that they could do besides keep him in jail for another 12 years. And yes, it pulled up my heartstring with his kids. He's not going to see them graduate high school. He's not going to see them get married. If they do decide to get married, he's not going to be there in their lives.
And whose fault is that? Ours or
it's his fault. But I think 5 years is enough. I thought President Obama would do the right thing and commute his sentence.
Well, one of the things that you learned about President Obama, which you should have figured out a long time ago, is that if there's nothing in it for him, he's not doing it. And as I said, the reason I thought he was never going to pardon Blagojevich, what's in it for him? Not a thing.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, fog this morning, some rain, cloudy, mild, a high of 45 degrees. Tonight, a shower in the area. And then tomorrow, Saturday, mostly cloudy, mild, a high now of 55 degrees, but that's still unseasonably warm for mid-January. And on Sunday, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies, a high of 50 degrees. Let's get the latest on the roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Right now, things are fairly quiet on the expressways and tollways. A crash on the westbound Adams Tollway near Elmhurst Road has cleared. Traffic's moving well there. Inbound Bishop Ford, traffic's a little heavy now, 103rd of the Rhine. Inbound Rhine, just a little heavy approaching downtown. Outbound, there's still a little bit of road work from 87th to the split. But traffic's light. If you're planning to celebrate Inauguration Day later, there will be, if you're going to be in the downtown area, protest plan, including a demonstration around Daly Plaza and the Loop, starting around 3 this afternoon. Protests are planned later tonight around Trump Tower, so keep that in mind if you're out and about in the downtown area. There's also a concert at Allstate Arena tonight, so you'll have traffic there. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The website, upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do here on this show. Long-form interviews this week with Trump surrogate Steve Cortez from his National Hispanic Advisory Council. Man on the Street interviews, our Follow the Logic segments this week featuring those attendees to Obama's farewell address at McCormick Place, 60-second commentaries, podcasts of our Illinois Rising program. That's Sunday afternoons on these airwaves that focuses on state of Illinois politics and policy. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Hi, my name is Ray McElroy, former Chicago Bears player and chaplain, and founder and CEO of the nonprofit Array of Hope on Earth. You know, running a successful nonprofit organization that serves at-risk, underserved youth in the inner city of Chicago presents its own set of challenges. I am so relieved that as a small, newer organization, we don't have to count our payroll and HR responsibilities as one of them because of the amazing service we receive from Precision Payroll of America. Not only do I appreciate the professional quality of Precision Payroll of America, but I also love that their values of faith, family, and fair and comprehensive service align perfectly with our own.
Thank you, Ray. For our great services, call me at 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com. To support a great cause, check out arrayofhopeonearth.org.
Tom, you're the best, bro.
No, man, you're the best.
No, you're the best.
Oh, you the man.
No, for real, dog. You the man.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about President Obama's final acts and what he did do, what he didn't do. He didn't commute the sentence of Rod Blagojevich. He did commute the sentence of another 330 drug offenders. I mean,
yeah, low-level drug offenders.
Once a member of the Choom Gang, always a member of the Choom Gang, I suppose. In addition to that, though, going back, we mentioned again, and this bears some repeating. We talked about it a bit yesterday, but the pardon of Oscar Lopez Rivera, the FALN terrorist.
Puerto Rican nationalist, yeah.
Right. Now, again, not to be confused with FLAN, the custard. FALN is the terrorist group.
All right, I made a mistake.
I just want to make sure people are understanding that we're not calling...
and we're going to have flan in the 8 o'clock hour.
Spanish custard, a terrorist group. I just want to make...
I live with Puerto Ricans.
Yes.
Please.
Well, here's something interesting that probably a lot of people didn't know.
What? You're going to tell me something warm and fuzzy about Oscar Lopez Rivera?
No. An excellent pronunciation.
Thank you.
This from Chicago City Wire, and it's the reason I founded Chicago City Wire and so many other outlets, because...
You own it.
Well, because nobody does any digging and gets any background information on these stories. So we decided to do that. Did you know something about FALN, the terrorist group? You know the godmother of FALN was? Quote-unquote godmother?
Mm-mm.
A CPS Spanish teacher and guidance counselor named Carmen Valentin. In the early 70s, she taught at Tully High School in Wicker Park. Her goal, established Puerto Rico as an independent communist state. Well, not much has changed in the intervening 46 years in CPS. Communist Spanish teachers. I mean, it's communists in general. I'm just saying she was a Spanish teacher. 1980 Tribune story, Call Valentin, the godmother of FALN in Chicago, reported that she was accused of organizing student protests at Tully High School in 73 that turned into bloody riots. Her students included Carlos Torres, who later became a national leader of FALN with Lopez Rivera, as well as Torres's wife, Marie Hedi. In 1999, Bill Clinton pardoned Valentin after she declared war on the United States before threatening U.S. District Court Judge Thomas McMillan. Quote, "You're lucky we cannot take you right now," she said to McMillan before turning to police in the courtroom. "You'll be walking with canes and wheelchairs. Revolutionary justice can be fierce." Bill Clinton pardoned Valentin in 1999.
Mm-hmm. And Oscar Lopez Rivera was offered a pardon, too, but he didn't take it because not everyone in the group was pardoned. So he held on.
Boy, solidarity, brothers.
Oh, they're a little mouthy, a little demanding, don't you think there, Dan?
Very, very impressed. You'll also remember something else that I had forgotten when we talked about this before, that FALN had plotted to kidnap Congressman John Porter.
Yep.
Remember that?
I remember that.
I had to have my memory jogged thanks to our diligence here at our little staff.
I have to remind people in the family what they stood for and what they did.
So that's FALN.
And they're lucky nobody died when they bombed the Merchandise Mart in February of 1977.
But it's nice to bookend it, right? You got the Clinton pardon in 99 of the godmother, who's a former CPS teacher, and then you got the commutation by President Obama.
And still no love for Blago. That's what makes me so mad. And
if he was a terrorist,
don't get me mad again and cry.
If he was a terrorist, or even better, a gender fluid terrorist, he would be free today.
Right. That's right. He didn't change his name to Rhonda.
Rich in Freeport, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, it sounds like Blago did more in prison than he did in the office. Maybe we could expand this model to the Madigans, the Clintons, and the Obamas. And one other thing I have, how soon will it be before the Republicans announce that they have to vote for Biden to save the Republican Party? Just asking.
Thanks, Rich.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the big day has arrived.
Yeah, and what happens if every Republican is murdered today? That's a question that CNN asked and answered. We'll have that at 5:38.
And later, will he or won't he? There's rumblings that soon-to-be President Donald Trump will be dancing with Caitlyn Jenner at one of the balls. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
39 degrees, rain showers, and El Chapo in the U.S. Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman not coming to Chicago. Instead, after being captured by Mexican authorities last January, after escaping from prison in July of 2015, he's headed to New York City. He's the head of the Sinaloa cartel and faces 6 separate New York indictments. Might rain on Donald Trump's parade today. Forecasters say there's nearly a 90% chance of rain when Donald Trump is sworn in as the nation's 45th president. An inauguration you will hear on AM 560, The Answer, today. Donald Trump is also scheduled to visit CIA headquarters Saturday, the day after he's sworn in. The facility in Langley, Virginia, will be hosting the swearing-in ceremony of Kansas Congressman Mike Pompeo as CIA director. In New York City, celebrities including Robert De Niro and Cher led rallies while thousands filled Columbus Circle and Central Park West opposed to the Trump inauguration.
I'm 70 years old. I've lived through 12 presidents. And never once did I dream that there would be one through arrogance and ignorance who could change our world, who could change the face of our world.
Actor John Voight, though, says one of America's most cherished presidents would be proud of President-elect Trump.
President Lincoln, who sits here with us, I'm sure is smiling, knowing America will be saved by an honest and good man who will work for all the people, no matter their creed or color.
Voight speaking at the Lincoln Memorial yesterday. Authorities are investigating a single-vehicle crash here in the Chicago area in suburban Bloomingdale that killed a local police officer overnight. City of Chicago getting a new corporation counsel. Mayor Rahm Emanuel has chosen Washington attorney Edward Sisko to replace departing city attorney Steve Patton. Illinois lawmakers in Springfield once again floating the idea of selling a state office building in Chicago. Republican Senate leader Christine Radogno leading the charge and suggesting the sale of the Thompson Center. And a bus carrying a minor league hockey team has been involved in a rollover crash. 3 are in serious condition this morning. The charter bus carrying the Columbus Cottonmouths of the Southern Professional Hockey League team overturned on I-74 near Peoria. Morton Fire Chief Joe Kelly saying firefighters had to cut holes in the bus to pull 24 out. Bears have hired 3 new assistants. Jimmy Butler will be in the starting lineup at the NBA All-Star Game. And the news is a service of Visit Florida. Warm up Chicago and say hello, sunny. Greater Fort Lauderdale has miles of certified blue wave beaches. So many ways to play. Plan your beach escape at sunny.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains that racism is racism.
There is this belief, this blind mindset that you can't exhibit any kind of racism if you're a minority. And it's nuts. It's a goofy, bizarre, out-of-body belief. It defies all common sense and all logic.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
With beaches, theme parks, nightlife, and more, head to Florida for your best winter ever. Plan your vacation at visitflorida.com.
The U.S. economy has been getting stronger, and home values have been increasing. This good economic news presents a unique financial opportunity for you. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Many of our clients have been taking cash out of their homes, a strategy that might work for you. The smart move is to refinance your mortgage right now with Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.25%, APR 4.43%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how much we can lower your mortgage payment. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
537 and a check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center this morning. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90 traffic is stop and go from the Tri-State to just past the River Road Toll. There's a crash there on the right shoulder. Inbound Eisenhower, a little congested now around First Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, stop and go State to Lakeshore Drive, about a 3-minute delay. Ryan has a 2-minute delay entering downtown. Bishop Ford slow starting at 111th. It's 21 minutes, 8094 of the Rhine. 8094 to the Rhine, that is northbound I-65 just south of Roselawn. There's a truck in the ditch. That could result in some lane closures. Traffic service of Sam's Club. With a Sam's Club membership, enjoy great savings every time you shop. Get a fresh start to the new year with over $3,300 in instant savings offers. Stop by or visit samsclub.com. Join and save. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club. See club for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Fog this morning. Touch of rain. It'll be cloudy and a little more mild than we're used to this time of year. High 45. Currently light rain and 38. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So
do you want another factoid about what's going to happen today?
Okay.
Vice President Mike Pence is going to be sworn in by Clarence Thomas, and they're going to be using Ronald Reagan's Bible.
That's right. I believe that is the first African American to swear in one of the president, vice president. So that's great.
Yeah.
And that was Pence's selection.
Mm-hmm.
The Chief Justice swears in the president, so that's John Roberts. But Pence has some latitude in terms of who he selects to do his swearing in. He chose Clarence Thomas, which tells you something about Mike Pence's worldview, an encouraging note from my perspective. And then there's the media. Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN, said that Trump is trying to delegitimize the media. That's what he's trying to do. And yet CNN did this story yesterday. What happens if Trump, Pence, and GOP congressional leaders are assassinated today? What happens? What would happen? Listen to this.
Just about every measure of America's security apparatus, including 28,000 law enforcement personnel, will be on the ground in Washington when President Obama hands off his office to Donald Trump on Friday. A near army in place to protect the leaders of all branches of government gathered in one place outside. And while officials stress there's no specific, credible threat to this inauguration, tonight, due to a quirk in America's rules for succession, questions remain about just who would be in charge if an attack hit the incoming president, vice president, and congressional leaders just as the transfer of power is underway.
Innocent question from CNN, playing out just a hypothetical, looking to fill time, or wishful thinking. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Now, is my memory failing me? Did they do this same story back in 2009 as President Obama was about to be inaugurated?
No. There's a show called Lone Survivor, but that's during a State of the Union address, the premise of that show. And, everyone is wiped out in a big bomb.
That's a television show.
Attack. That is, that's not reality.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, I know.
Yeah.
That is a bizarre story.
Well, it gives people on the left false hope, like, oh, is that going to happen?
Well,
because all my lefty friends, he might not make it through his presidency. Why? He might get assassinated. Oh, okay.
Is that wishful thinking on their part?
Well, of course it is.
I don't want to cast
They should watch themselves when they say it, but yes, people have been saying that since he was elected.
Okay, well, I don't want to cast people that disagree with me as hoping the president of the United States is going to be assassinated. Because I know
they're that angry.
I know the left tried to do that with some conservatives or conservatives in general with Obama, and that was never the case. Certainly not for me or any reasonable person. No, I don't want to. Nobody wants. Most people don't want to see anybody get assassinated. I think that's a fair statement. The idea of doing that story
is grossly negligent. It's irresponsible. It's stupid.
That is yellow journalism. That's what it is. This is manufacturing hysteria. And it's also trying to make people believe that things are less safe because Trump is the president of the United States. And if you think that's an isolated incident, that's where you're wrong. On the Today Show yesterday, a report indicated that U.S. Secret Service has put in place several anti-drone efforts out of concern that an inspired flying IED will smash into the crowd. Or this is
Wait, are you sure it's not a flying IUD?
No, that's different.
Because I'd love to see those things up in the air whirling around.
They could do damage as well.
Oh, they can.
There's no question. Mostly to the psyche, though. The flying IED could inflict more substantial physical damage.
But they have the power to shut down all the drones. That's what they were saying.
The Today Show report headlined, quote, "Drone danger at inauguration, dealing with the new high-flying security threat."
Oh, my gosh.
When strapped with a bomb, a worst-case scenario, especially with hundreds of thousands of people gathered at one spot like the inauguration, the report opened. This is like Orson Welles' War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Except these people are supposed to be journalists. They're not entertainers. This is trying to foment hysteria and a feeling of insecurity. Tom on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, from CNN to the other main fake media to down to the person on the street, they've gone crazy. It's wishful thinking. I'm rehabbing a hip after I had a replacement, and they said, "What are you doing this weekend?" "I'm going to an inauguration party," and some old that nasty lady says, "Well, hopefully it'll be a sad day," and he doesn't make it to Saturday. And I was like stunned.
Wow.
No, people are saying that. Yep.
Wow, that's a statement.
And then another person agreed with her, a young therapist.
And thanks for the call, Tom.
I have text messages.
Keep one eye open at night over there, wherever you are. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
That's been going on since he's been elected. Yeah, assassination talk, and I hope he gets killed and things like that. I hope that the people that are going to Washington, D.C. for tomorrow's Million Women's March leave it on the field. That means that they leave their anger there and they don't come back and bully people or make disparaging remarks. I mean, they have a right to free speech, but just leave it there. And now let's pray for the man and let's just hope he does well. Because if you don't respect the president, at least respect the office of the presidency.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I really hope. And I love that they're all going. I think that's great. And I think it's great next week. And after that, the ladies are going to the pro-life movement march. I think it's fine. I admire all of them for doing this, and because it's that important to them. But just leave the anger there. Is this just a dream?
Well, it is a dream. You have a dream.
I do.
That all the P-hats will come back and leave their anger in D.C. I don't think so, and the women too. I was talking about their.
Those hats that they're making that I guess I can't describe what it's called on the air.
No, I was talking about the male impersonators that are attending. But in the man-hating shrews as well. Both groups.
They're just Trump-hating shrews.
No,
man-hating.
No, they're not.
Not all of them.
No, they're not. Trump is just the latest boogeyman for them. Their leftism just started with Trump's candidacy and election. I doubt that.
Well, they don't like the comments that he's made.
Yeah,
obviously.
And
I don't like the comments that he's made either.
Yeah, that's.
But I'm willing to get over it and to give him a shot and to give him a chance.
I would say that's a very superficial explanation of your friend's leftism. This is not about Trump's comments. What were they before Trump announced for president? Conservative Republicans?
No.
Right. Thank you. So here's the other thing. Going back to the illegitimate media and the media delegitimizing itself. We mentioned this yesterday. The New York Times story on Rick Perry. Totally unsubstantiated. I mean, the New York Times, this is, back in the day, there was a journalistic ethos that you had to get everything right.
Yeah.
Everything right, especially the Gray Lady.
They were a respected publication.
They ran an unsubstantiated hit on Rick Perry, again, we mentioned yesterday, saying he didn't know that the Energy Department has primary responsibility for maintaining the country's nuclear arsenal. That's not true. That's not true. And their source for that quote, a former Perry aide, said as much. Saying that the New York Times interpreted his statement differently than he offered it. the Texas Tribune actually had a much more knowledgeable, nuanced take than the New York Times, as was indicated by Molly Hemingway in a very good piece she wrote for The Federalist. In addition to that, the USA Today, they got suckered by this fake North Korean news service Twitter feed.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. The DPRK, which is like my favorite Twitter feed of 2016, this is a fake Democratic People's Republic of North Korea news service. The best tweet of last year, I can't remember the intro, but it was about Piers Morgan, and it was about Piers Morgan not being fit to be a bathroom attendant at a monkey park. I just love that. So yesterday they tweeted, DPRK tweeted about Rick Perry. And the USA Today picked it up and ran it like this was a real thing.
Yeah, legitimate news story. Yeah.
Yeah. The USA Today White House reporter David Jackson, who used to be at the Tribune, and I've had interactions with him. He's a complete hack. So that's why he's at the USA Today getting confused by fake Twitter feeds. The Twitter feed of the nuclear-armed dictatorship said, quote, Donald Trump, Minister of Nuclear Weapons, Richard Perry, known as Governor of Texas Province, famed for its production of tacos and bumpkins. That was the tweet. But David Jackson picked that up as like quoting North Korea in response, their lack of respect for the Trump pick for Secretary of Energy, who's going to be in charge of maintaining the country's nuclear arsenal. They can't. They're so illegitimate, they can't even distinguish between a parody account and a real statement. And, of course, why would anybody fact-check it?
Right.
You just run with that. Just pick it up from Twitter and run with it.
Did they even try to reach out to Rick Perry? No.
Obviously not. In addition to that, did you see this tweet about Sonny Perdue? He's the last cabinet nominee, the Secretary of Ag, the former governor of Georgia. The Washington Post headline, Trump picks former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue, who once led a prayer for rain, for Ag Secretary.
A lot of farmers pray for rain.
Walter Olson tweeted in response, who's a very good conservative author. I'm as secular as they come, but I think the Washington Post headline is so uncalled for and disrespectful. Of course it is. And it's funny because, as Molly Hemingway points out in her piece on fake news from the D.C. Press Corps, just right after the election, the New York Times executive editor, Dean Baquette, admitted that the New York Times doesn't get religion at all. We don't get religion. We don't get the role of religion in people's lives. And I think we can do much, much better.
So they're shaming Sonny Perdue because he prays.
Well, they're making him out like he's
some TV evangelical.
Oh, well, that he's not a serious person for agriculture, right? He's just one of these religious zealots who prays for things rather than, engages in the thoughtful pursuit of scientific exploration and then takes that information and makes public policy. So Washington Post, CNN, New York Times, all trafficking in fake news in the last 24 hours. And Donald Trump is the one delegitimizing the press. Okay. Deborah in Palatine.
Yeah, this women's march tomorrow that's excluding pro-life.
Yes.
Group, I don't get the big deal about why this is something to be looked up to or whatever. How about real atrocities against women, like having to be covered in public and marrying at 12 and, female mutilation? How about these women go work in a battered women's shelter or something like that would really do some good? These women do not represent me.
Thanks for the call, Deborah. Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Good morning. If anyone goes down to the Million Woman March, or if you want to call it the Grumpy Old Menopause March, I want to let you know that they're having a special at KFC, a bucket of chicken. It's 2 small breasts, 2 fat thighs, and the rest are left wings. But all you leftists, if you go down, make sure you stop by T-Mobile today and get a cell phone, because at 12:01, your Obama phone's going to be deactivated.
Oh, my God.
Mike's on fire. Hey, by the way, I'm still waiting for the rundown of your newly created LGBT party so I can post it and you can start to get members. So please send that along.
I'll send it to you this weekend.
All right.
And just make sure everybody replies with a certified check, no personal checks.
All right, Mike, thanks.
Save big on winter travel during the Apple Vacations Great Winter Event. Explore the best beaches in Mexico and the Caribbean while Apple Vacations takes care of everything. Round-trip airfare, deluxe accommodations, all meals, drinks, and so much more. All you need to do is relax. This is an Apple Vacation. 7 nights in Huatulco at Park Royal Huatulco start from only $9.49. Or make it a full week of unlimited luxury at the adults-only Secrets Huatulco Resort and Spa starting from just $15.99. Both trips include round-trip nonstop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Traveloni at 312-334-7876 or visit Traveloni.com. That's 312-334-7876 or Traveloni.com. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select departures starting February 25th, including exclusive vacation flights on Volaris from O'Hare and taxes and fees, including September 11th security fee. Some services are provided by other airlines. See AppleVacations.com for baggage charges. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply. PC 16132.
Hey, if you aren't getting a great night's sleep, I suggest you order a MyPillow today and start the year right. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. The new year is here, so I suggest you resolve to sleep better and feel better. The best offer ever is still available. When you buy one MyPillow, you receive another MyPillow absolutely free, plus 2 Go Anywhere pillows. You're guaranteed to be satisfied. So visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code Amy. 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of 1. Again, 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of 1. So start the year off right. Call 800-489-0201, mention the Radio Listener Special, and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
If you own or manage a company with recycling needs, your goal is to maximize profits while minimizing waste. Chicagoland is home to a leading recycling company stacked with experts in the latest technology and innovation to effectively manage a wide range of industrial waste, including paper, plastic, cardboard, pallets, as well as shredding and document destruction. For over 3 decades, eco and profit-conscious companies have depended on Combined Resources, Inc. for customized strategies and solutions based on company operational processes. Clients work directly with a Combined Resource partner to ensure first-rate customer care, commitment, and convenience. It's easy to find out how your company can benefit from their first-rate recycling services. Request a free audit by calling 630-916-1804 or visit combinedresources.us. Maximizing recycling profits and minimizing waste. That's 630-916-1804 or online at combinedresources.us.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
It's tax season. Are you prepared? Do you need help? Corporate and personal tax deadlines are approaching fast. It's time to call Timothy C. Wolf, CPA, an expert in tax preparation, IRS representation, and payroll filings. Tim is knowledgeable about current tax legislation and how to maximize your deductions. He'll have your tax return electronically filed, and any refund will be direct deposited to your account. Don't miss quarterly tax deadlines. Don't wait to the last minute to file. Trust your taxes with an experienced professional. Let Timothy C. Wolf, CPA, plan and prep your corporate and personal taxes now. Call anytime for a free review of your past 3 business or personal tax returns. 847-818-0400. 847-818-0400. Make an appointment today and receive 20% off your first-time 2016 tax preparation. Timothy C. Wolf, CPA. Find him at afreetaxreview.com. afreetaxreview.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Got a crash on the outbound Kennedy. It is stop and go from Ogden to before North Avenue, where this crash has 2 left lanes blocked. It's 25 minutes downtown to O'Hare, inbound 21. The Edens is wet, but otherwise okay. The Eisenhower, 33 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound still fine at 29. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 21 minutes, 95 to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from the Tri-State to pass the River Road toll after a collision. There's a crash on the westbound Reagan Tollway at Naperville Road. 2 left lanes are blocked. Traffic is a service of Office Depot Office Max. It takes more than love to run a small business. It also takes paper, lots of paper. For a limited time, buy any Office Depot brand ream of paper or a 10-ream case of paper and get 1 free. Office Depot Office Max. Gear up for great. In-store only, ends 121, limit 2. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
At 5:58, Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a checkup on Fox News, your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Areas of fog for the morning, then patchy fog for the afternoon. A touch of rain today and a shower in the area for the evening. Otherwise, it will be cloudy today and tonight with a high 44 and a low tonight of 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Here are the top stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer this morning. Authorities are investigating a single-vehicle crash in suburban Bloomingdale that killed a local police officer. In prison, former House Speaker Dennis Hastert wants one of his sex abuse victims to return the $1.7 million in hush money that the Illinois Republican paid him. The news this hour is service of LifeLock. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Cloudy and foggy start to the morning with a touch of rain. Your full forecast coming up in our next hour. WIND Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He'll take the oath in less than 5 hours.
I outworked everybody. I think I outworked anybody who ever ran for office.
President-elect Trump at one of the pre-inauguration parties last night. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Chief Justice John Roberts will administer the oath on the West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol. And then the new president will deliver his inaugural address, which could be on the shorter side, perhaps around 20 minutes. Last night, Mr. Trump greeted crowds gathered for a welcome concert at the Lincoln Memorial.
It's a movement like we've never seen anywhere in the world, they say. There's never been a movement like this.
Mr. Trump and the soon-to-be First Lady will attend a prayer service this morning and then have tea at the White House. Dave?
Rachel, nearly 30,000 law enforcement officers are out securing the Capitol for the inauguration.
Fox News has just obtained the actual threat assessment from the Department of Homeland Security. It's a 10-page document that lists all of the big picture threats that they're worried about, from Al-Qaeda, obviously, to ISIS. There is no specific credible threat to this inaugural, but this threat assessment adds that they are still very concerned about the so-called lone wolf, what we saw in Germany with the truck bomber, that kind of situation.
That's Fox's Ed Henry right outside the Capitol. A lot of protesters are in Washington. Hundreds clashed with Trump supporters outside a party called the Deplorable, and there was a big anti-Trump rally in New York City as well.
These people are a disgrace.
Alec Baldwin, who lampoons the president-elect on SNL, was among the many celebrities addressing the crowd.
They are a disgrace to everything you and I believe in, but there is hope, and the hope is us and us fighting 100 days of resistance.
Also in New York, one of the world's most notorious drug kingpins is set to appear in federal court today. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was extradited to the U.S. last night. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
From the Pilgrims at Plymouth Rock to the American Revolution to the Union's victory in the American Civil War, the divine hand of providence has guided America's rise to greatness. Join Michael Medved as he tells the story of the American miracle. Presented by Active Alarm Company. Thursday, February 2nd at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Tickets for this special luncheon begin at just $32. Get yours today at 560theanswer.com/miracle. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Happy Inauguration Day.
Yeah, it's finally arrived. Aren't you excited?
It begins today. See, there's a lot of people that are very optimistic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are very pessimistic. I am very realistic.
Oh, thank you.
Do you understand the difference? So, an optimist, a pessimist,
Right.
I'm a realist. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, Dan, I do.
I don't think you do.
Oh, I do.
Let me explain it to you.
Oh, okay. When you talk slow because I'm blonde.
Well, I want to really bring this home so that you can share with your friends and decide which category you would consider yourself to
Everyone I know is
to
gone.
fit in.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all gone.
I mean, they're all gone to.
He's gone.
No,
What do
they're
you
going
mean
to
he's gone?
protest on my
He's
basketball
gone.
team,
There's
my
nothing
church.
you could do about it. So here's the definition. An optimist believes the glass is half full.
Right.
A pessimist believes the glass is half empty.
I was going to answer that question.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard formulation. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
People are familiar with
You know
this.
what? You're talking too fast.
So if
And a realist is.
So optimist half full, pessimist half empty, and a realist believes the glass is twice as big as it needs to be. You see the difference? That's an
okay.
important distinction, and I want you to think about that for the rest of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Want to eat my flan.
So I'm a realist about Trump, as I am a realist about politics generally. I've been brutalized by the reality of Illinois politics that has forced me into the category of realism and out of the category of optimist, generally speaking. I don't fall in love with politicians, but the question is, I mean, this is an appropriate question at the outset of an administration. What are your hopes? What are your expectations for the Trump administration? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Your hopes for Trump's presidency, your expectations for Trump's presidency. We'll take either.
Well, because at 1201, he owns Obamacare. He owns health care. He owns the nuclear codes. I mean, it begins. It's game on at 1201, and people are saying that immediately he's going to reverse the TPP agreement, the trade deal, that's going to between 1 and 4 when he has some time to do some work. That he's going to start.
We're talking about executive orders.
Executive orders, right.
Yeah, so there was report, Judge Napolitano was on Fox the other day saying probably move, from his discussions with Trump, he'll probably move on a couple of executive orders today, many more on Monday. There are things that he can do to unwind the executive orders, kind of recall the executive orders that Obama promulgated, and there's things that he can't do.
On Saturday, he's apparently going to the CIA. He's going to go visit CIA facilities.
So the things that he can do with executive orders in areas like immigration, areas like Napolitano raised this issue specifically, a executive order with respect to gun ownership that Obama signed that would essentially require a one-off transfer or purchase of a gun between a family member, between a relative, would require them to be like a federally licensed firearm dealer and all of the associated regulatory oversight and paperwork and expense and so forth. He can undo that. So there's a lot that he can do through executive order, and there's much more that he can't or shouldn't, so that we don't continue this imperial rule of the presidency that we've experienced under President Obama. But I still didn't hear what your hope or expectation is for Donald Trump. Is there a singular thing that you hope he does, or is there an expectation you have that concerns you?
Well, I was a single issue voter because I was concerned about Obamacare, because I saw firsthand people who were being, promised that they could keep their doctors that then could not go to teaching hospitals at Rush, University of Chicago, Northwestern Memorial Hospital. So I want him to repeal Obamacare, which they've already started in the process of doing that. That's important. Immigration, I want him to take his time on that. I know that he wants to build this great big wall, but he will take his time on that and listen to his Homeland Security Director, General John Kelly, who said we might not need that in order to fight immigration.
Well, there are things that he can do quickly on these topic areas and things that are going to take more time.
Mm-hmm.
And he can rescind Obama's executive orders with respect to DACA, for example.
What's the first thing you want him to do?
Well, rank order of priority is not so important to me. I mean, I think there is a sequencing of these things. I would like Obamacare to be replaced at the same time that it is dismantled. I'd like that to be as seamless as possible. So if that requires a few more weeks into the administration to get everybody's assent on this at the leadership level and, frankly, down the rank and file as well in both chambers, then that's fine. I think moving to rescind all of Obama's executive action and kind of reset the table and reset the balance of power between Congress and the presidency, that is welcome. But I think the interesting thing about this is going to be where Trump decides to spend political capital. I mean, you have all of this stuff going on, right? And all of the cabinet secretaries, what they're saying, what congressional leaders are saying, these one-off stories, story yesterday about looking to defund, this is an old saw of the Republican Party, defund the National Endowment for the Arts, defund the National Endowment for the Humanities, defund PBS. None of those things should exist. They should all be defunded, but it shouldn't be a one-off because it makes that a battle, which is a very, very small battle in the grand scheme of things. That should be part of a larger reduction in the size and expense and expanse of government. That's what I want to see. I want to see big vision, and then leave it to cabinet secretaries and the mechanics on the Hill to, whip the necessary vote to move big vision stuff. That's what I want to see. And so it'll be interesting because he says a lot of things. He tackles a lot of topics like all presidents do, all politicians do. But you always look for two things for me. One, on which policies or policy areas has this person been most consistent? Their policy position been most consistent? Where have they already spent the most political capital? I think those are the leading indicators of where someone's going to go. They can make and take positions on a lot of issues, but where they're actually devoting their leverage from the bully pulpit is an indication of where they'll devote their political capital, and where they've been the most consistent means, generally speaking, where they have devoted the most thought, and where they're the most dug in, or where maybe it's where they think they have the biggest political upside, and so that's where they're most dug in. And so it seems to me that in the first 100 days, this kind of arbitrary marker, you're going to have to see substantive reforms in the area of immigration, tax and regulatory policy to spur job creation. Those would be the two biggest things for Trump, because and Obamacare repeal. But
that's going to take time.
But no, I don't. It shouldn't take that much time. It shouldn't take that much time to do. It's going to take that much time to implement. I mean, one of the things people have to understand is that this is not a light switch. We instituted this replacement, and then the next day you've got this whole new landscape on which you're operating.
No, this is going to take 12 to 15 months, right?
Maybe. I mean, for kind of full assimilation across the nation. I think, look, you just have to understand that there's a lag effect to policy implementation and impact and consequences. So that's why the Trump and his team should begin in earnest because of that lag effect.
Right. And during his inaugural address, they say it's going to last 20 minutes, Dan.
Good.
Not like the 72 minutes that he had at the RNC, and he's going to talk about what it means to be an American. That's what he's going to focus on.
Okay.
So, and we got a little taste of him last night. He was at the Candlelight Vigils after the big concert, and he talked about, because it's going to rain today. Rain's going to start in D.C. around 7 a.m., and it's going to be the heaviest during the time that he's being sworn in.
Tomorrow we have a speech, probably around 12 o'clock. It may rain, it may not rain. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I mean, the truth is, if it really pours, that's okay, because people will realize it's my real hair, and that's okay.
So now Secret Service is letting people bring umbrellas in. Can't bring in selfie sticks, bags, or food, but you can bring an umbrella.
Earlier in the day, Trump was at this congressional luncheon where he professed his undying love
for
Paul Ryan.
And I'd be fighting with Paul. I love Paul. I don't know if Paul's here. He's not writing legislation because he's got so much legislation to write. He's never had it so good.
Never had it so
He's
good.
actually got somebody that's going to sign it.
What was the last part? I couldn't hear it. I need a translation.
He's got, and now he's got, Paul Ryan's busy writing legislation, and now he's got somebody to sign it.
Oh, okay.
Right, just so long as it's a collaborative effort there, and it's not just Paul Ryan, which I suspect it will be. Trump also made this pronouncement about his cabinet.
We have by far the highest IQ of any cabinet ever assembled.
Yes, that may be true. I don't know.
Is that true?
I have no idea. I mean, how would anybody know?
Does Rick Perry bring it down? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I love Rick Perry.
By the way, smart, not a synonym for ethical. Okay. Let's just remember that. I don't care if it's the right or the left saying that. This
that's so true.
The intelligence bias, because someone is intelligent, that necessarily means they're good. No, you can be intelligent, smart, you can be hyper competent, and you can be diabolical. So have we figured that out yet after the Trump experience and the revolt that has taken place? The non-elite elites, the non-expert experts, you can be smart, you can have all the credentials, and you can be a disaster. Don't make intelligence a synonym for goodness. Mike in Union, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, everybody. My biggest, the most thing I'm hopeful for and optimistic about is that he continues to use his Twitter account and beats down on the left in all their lies.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to enjoy.
All right. Thanks for the call,
At
Mike.
12:01, he says his Twitter account is not going away.
That is from the file of people want good entertainment, not good government, so said Earl Long. But you can have a little bit of both, I suppose. The Wall Street Journal convened responses from a pretty good lineup of deep thinkers about this question of hopes and expectations for a Trump administration. Shelby Steele said, among other things, Mr. Trump's special charisma is that he seems to function entirely outside the framework of today's cultural liberalism. I think that's a good observation, and that Mike from Union speaks to that with his Twitter account. By the way, as I always do when I invoke the name of Shelby Steele, go read White Guilt. White Guilt should be mandatory reading. Shelby Steele should be the one invited to New Trier for their, in-session day on race relations and not all those left-wing cranks. Heather Higgins, again, kind of on topic. Heather Higgins said the more successful he is, the more the left will try to distract with attacks on him and his legitimacy. I think that's right as well. You can see, you can kind of measure how well Trump is doing by how vicious and sustained and hysterical the attacks from the D.C. press corps and the politicians that serve as their ambassadors become. Heather McDonald brings up a rather domestic issue, of course, because she's wrote that best-selling book, War on Cops. Mr. Trump can give proactive policing its due in saving thousands of minority lives. It'd be interesting to see if he continues to use the bully pulpit to focus on issues that are really more state and local issues, like education and choice in education, like policing, which is really a state and local issue. He focused a substantial amount of time on it during the campaign. I hope that continues, at least rhetorically. I don't want the federal government to come in and police Chicago for itself. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't want the federal government to be imposing more mandates on K through 12 education. These are state and local issues. But it doesn't mean that the president can't use his rhetorical perch to influence the dialogue, and that's important. Annie on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Today's a great day. I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm also a Chicago police officer, and I think most police officers, I know I do, feel like the war on the police will be over, hopefully, at least with the administration, and we'll be supported in doing our jobs nationwide.
All right. Thanks for the call, Annie.
Well, I think they've got their back. I mean, Governor Pence, soon to be Vice President Pence, was talking about that yesterday.
How about
he was
Jeff?
on CNN. He's, we are here for the police officers. We're going to defend them.
How about Jeff Sessions at Department of Justice?
Oh, yeah.
That's a sea change from Holder and Lynch. Philip in Portage Park.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I just wanted to say I would like to see the newly elected President Trump enforce all of the existing laws regarding immigration, more specifically illegal immigration. I don't know the specifics, but I think it'd be interesting if you could repeal these so-called sanctuary cities.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Philip.
Right.
Or at least impose a cost for, being obstinate about maintaining so-called sanctuary cities. Politicians like Tiny Dancer should impose a cost. There was also a story out yesterday about Congress looking to punish sanctuary college campuses as well. You know how you punish these big city left-wing hacks like Tiny Dancer and like all the academicians at our elite universities, quote unquote? Take the money away.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And we should also remind everyone, we will provide full inauguration coverage beginning at 10 a.m. here right on AM 560. The Answer. Forecast for today, we're going to have fog this morning, a touch of rain. It'll be mild, though, for this time of year, a high of 45 degrees. Tonight, showers in the evening, otherwise considerable cloudiness. And your weekend looks cloudy both days, but mild, a high Saturday of 55. And on Sunday, we'll hit a high of 50 degrees. Any high travel times? Let's get the latest from our very good friend, Jim Telemonte.
And word yes, Amy, good morning. The outbound Kennedy has big delays from downtown Chicago to before North Avenue, where a crash has 3 left lanes blocked. This involves a jackknife semi and a police car. 38 minutes downtown to O'Hare, and this is now starting to affect the inbound Rhine, which was getting heavy already. It's 23 minutes, 95th to downtown on the Rhine. The inbound Kennedy has scattered delays. It's 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker than the express. Eden's inbound, just a little sluggish, Peterson to the junction. The Eisenhower, 36 minutes, Thorndale to the loop, outbound 30. Stevenson, already 53 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Bishop Ford, heavy at 28 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Adams Tollway eastbound slow from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Reagan Tollway westbound, there's a crash near Naperville Road. That one has just cleared now. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, if you aren't getting a great night's sleep, I suggest you order a MyPillow right now and start the year off right. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, made in the U.S. of A., and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. I love MyPillow. I cannot sleep without it. And the new year's here, so I suggest you resolve, get it, to sleep better and feel better. So the best offer is still available. Buy one MyPillow, you'll receive another MyPillow absolutely free, plus 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Now you're guaranteed to be satisfied, so visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, you'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, all for the price of 1. So start the year off right, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
It's a great American story. The company started with just 2 cars, operating out of a spare room in a house in the western suburbs. With hard work and making every customer important, 47 years later, A1 Airport Limousine is one of the largest transportation companies in America. Wouldn't you or your company like to do business with a company that shares your American values? Try A1 right now and say, "Give me 10." Get 10% off your first trip. Individuals, groups, airport runs, companies, any transportation need, small or large, A1 is the A1 choice. They're reliable, professional, and on time. Call now and say, "Give me 10." 10% off your first ride. 630-833-3788. 630-833-3788. Or book online and ask for the 10% discount at a1limousine.com. Give your business to a business that shares your values. A1 is the A1 transportation choice.
Great talent is the driving force behind your successful business. If you don't have the right people in key roles, then you have talent gaps. IMC Solutions identifies those gaps and delivers expertise in recruiting the right talent to fill them, leaving you free to succeed.
Hi, I'm Linda Nichols, founder of IMC Solutions. We're a niche recruiting and staffing firm that specializes in placing human resources and sales professionals. We've created programs that are just right for your small to medium-sized business because we know that you're looking for expertise, but are also looking at the bottom line expenses to your company. You can take advantage of recruiting services that big companies get, but you don't have to pay the big fees. Our programs and solutions are affordable and bring you the people you need.
IMC Solutions understands the unique challenges of your business, making the tough job of hiring easy. Get started on finding your next hire today at imcsolutions.com or call Linda Nichols at 630-637-6200.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, January 25th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Wednesday, January 25th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so a couple more confirmation hearings yesterday. Rick Perry, who was smeared by the New York Times and by USA Today, that picked up the North Korea parody account and reported it as news because there's no fact-checking in the legitimate media anymore. But Perry was before the Senate panel yesterday.
Yeah.
And his answers raised some questions, I've got to say.
Did they ask him where he grew up? Did he say, well, I grew up on a farm?
I know that's your favorite drugged-up Rick Perry bite, but here's something that may replace it. And now I want to know what exactly is the true nature of Rick Perry's relationship with Al Franken.
Governor, thank you so much for coming into my office. Did you enjoy meeting me?
I hope you were as much fun on that dais as you were on your couch.
Well...
What?
This is inside baseball?
What?
May I rephrase that, sir?
Please. 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 Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
Well, I think we found our Saturday Night Live soundbite.
Yeah, I think you have. Yeah.
It was cute.
It was, and it's funny, Rick Perry.
A moment of levity.
Rick Perry to Marcus Luttrell, lone survivor, was sitting behind Rick Perry. He turned to Rick Perry turned to him and was laughing it up with him after he, recognized what he said. It was pretty funny.
Hours into it. And you get a little tired, get a little slap happy.
Oh, man. That was the best moment of the confirmation hearings to date. I mean, it's so dreary, the whole thing, and it's just pontificating by Democrat senators in this case because they're trying to attack Republican nominees. But Rick Perry said something else, too, about the Department of Energy that may have come as a little surprise to many, and particularly many of conservatives who, like Rick Perry, used to believe the Department of Energy shouldn't exist.
I have learned a great deal about the important work being done every day by the outstanding men and women of the Department of Energy. I've spoken several times to Secretary Moniz about the operation. I've spoken to his predecessors. And if confirmed, my desire is to lead this agency in a thoughtful manner, surrounding myself with the expertise on the core functions of the department. My past statements made over 5 years ago about abolishing the Department of Energy do not reflect my current thinking. In fact, after being briefed on so many of the vital functions of the Department of Energy, I regret recommending its elimination.
And he's replacing a...
that was less funny.
That was less funny, but do you think he'll do a good job? I mean, he's replacing a nuclear physicist.
He's replacing an 18th century composer masquerading as a nuclear physicist, that Ernest Moniz with that wild hair. Who, by the way, again, intelligence, not the same thing as judgment, just like intelligence, not the same thing as character. The nuclear physicist's judgment was to be the architect of the Iran nuclear deal. So he couldn't, it's hard to imagine how he could do worse, but I don't like walking back in that statement. It said something about what Rick Perry's interests are now, which is this secretariat, and what his interests were then, which is president, and his positions changed based on his interests, much more so than his newfound understanding of the Department of Energy. Another hearing that drew some attention, Steve Mnuchin for Treasury Secretary.
Yeah.
And it mainly drew attention because his fiancée is this good-looking blonde that was sitting behind him, and it blew up the Twitterverse.
Louise Langton. She's a Scottish actress.
And of course she is. And Mnuchin...
Well, yeah, he was under fire because they said that he foreclosed on military families. He foreclosed homes on military members.
Yes. Well, he's under fire for me because of what he said about the IRS.
I was particularly surprised that at looking at the IRS numbers, that the IRS headcount has gone down quite dramatically, almost 30% over the last number of years. I don't think there's any other government agency that's gone down 30%, and especially for an agency that collects revenues, this is something that I'm concerned about. Now, perhaps the IRS just started with way too many people, but I am concerned about the staffing of the IRS. That is an important part of fixing the tax gap.
And I am concerned about Steve Mnuchin as our Treasury Secretary. And I'm concerned about Wilbur Ross as our Commerce Secretary. And I'm not going to overstate the case. I'm not going to get all, I'm not going to hyperventilate about it. But I don't like the answers coming from those two gentlemen in particular.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/start now. That's ZipRecruiter.com/start now.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What will Barack Obama's customary farewell note and welcome note say to President Donald Trump at 6:36?
And later, will he or won't he, will President-elect, soon to be President Trump, dance with Caitlyn Jenner? But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Rain and 39 degrees. Donald Trump with a full schedule for Inauguration Day, beginning with a morning church service, a White House tea that will wrap up tonight with more inaugural balls than you can count. The main event, Donald Trump swearing in as the nation's 45th president, will take place at noon Eastern time on the West Lawn. Join AM 560 this morning beginning at 10 a.m. for our complete coverage of the inauguration. Senator John McCain this morning says he would like to hear a message of unity when President-elect Trump delivers his inaugural address.
The president sets the tone and beats the right drum, and that's what I think he has to do, and I'm reasonably optimistic he will do so.
The Arizona Republican also is urging the incoming administration to act quickly to rebuild the nation's military. The inauguration is still hours away, but protests are already underway, police having to use pepper spray to scatter rowdy crowds. The president, currently President Obama, in the final minutes of his presidency, and issued a final round of commutations out the door. The president cutting short the prison sentences of 330 federal inmates. Former Texas Governor Rick Perry says he's now open to storing nuclear waste at a facility in Nevada that was abandoned in 2011. Perry telling a Senate committee that he understands Nevada lawmakers are against reopening Yucca Mountain, but he cannot rule out its future use.
I think we can find a solution both in the interim and the long term of our nuclear waste.
Federal law passed in 1987 designated Yucca Mountain as a permanent repository. Actor Miguel Ferrer is dead after a battle with throat cancer. Star of NCIS Los Angeles was 61. He had a television and movie career that spanned decades. Twin Peaks in television, Crossing Jordan as well, too. He was the son of actor Jose Ferrer and singer Rosemary Clooney, and that makes him the cousin of George Clooney. Authorities are investigating a single-vehicle crash in Bloomingdale that killed a local police officer. It happened last night near Army Trail Road and Cardinal Avenue. President Barack Obama leaving office without granting early prison release to former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. That list of final acts of clemency and commutation did not include Blagojevich in the fourth year of a 14-year prison term. And trustees at the University of Illinois are ready to push enrollment to just under 100,000 students. Trustees yesterday endorsing a plan to add 11,000 students over 5 years at all 3 U of I campuses. Bears have hired 3 new assistant coaches. Cavaliers and Warriors have 2 in the starting lineups. For the All-Star game, the Bulls will have 1. Jimmy Butler, and the Bulls are in Atlanta tonight, while the Blackhawks are in Boston. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists helps resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the left needs to get out of its own bubble.
Far more dangerous than people who lie knowing they're lying are people who lie not knowing they're lying. The left lives in its own echo chamber. They only read, study under, live with, talk to people they agree with. It's like this tsunami of hysteria.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
A Beautyrest Platinum mattress brings you innovative design and superior style. With Beautyrest Platinum, experience elegantly orchestrated sleep. Enjoy precision and control with a Beautyrest Platinum sleep system.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it?
Why is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Did you know that people born from 1945 to 1965 have the highest rates of hepatitis C, but most don't know they're infected? People can live for decades without symptoms, but over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage and even liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 1965, the CDC recommends that you get a blood test for hepatitis C. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to refinance your existing home to eliminate PMI, give me a call. Joey heard me encouraging borrowers with FHA loans to call me to eliminate PMI and reduce their interest rate, and Joey is ecstatic he did. I helped Joey refinance out of his FHA loan, eliminated his PMI, lowered his rate, paid all his closing costs, and saved him over $250 a month. One phone call to me increased Joey's family's cash flow 3 G's a year. If you have an FHA loan and would like to see if you can eliminate PMI, lower your rate and monthly payments like Joey did, pick up the phone and give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
A check of the roads at 6:38 in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound now 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound 40 to the airport. A crash at North Avenue just cleared. Eden's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound it's fine. The Eisenhower, 51 minutes. Thornhill to the post office. Outbound 34. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Staples. Is your New Year's resolution to get new customers in the door? Staples Print and Marketing Services helps you promote your business with low prices on presentation, signs, and more. And you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Fog this morning, rain showers, mild, high near 45. 38 at O'Hare, 39 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So one tradition is the outgoing president leaves a little personal note to the incoming president. W did that. Well, Clinton did that for W. W did that for Obama. Obama is doing that for Trump.
Yeah, he's going to leave it behind in the Oval Office. It's a tradition that dates back a long time. But yesterday they released the letters that Bill Clinton wrote to George W. Bush. But let's start with what George W. Bush wrote to President Obama. He said, "Dear Barack,
I'm sorry for being being responsible for everything that's bad in the world, like you said."
No. Dear Barack, there will be trying moments. Well, first he congratulated him on winning the office of the presidency. You know, it's a rare club. There will be trying moments. The critics will rage. Your friends will disappoint you. But you will have an almighty God to comfort you and a family who loves you and a country that is pulling for you, including me. Sincerely, George W. Bush.
Gracious. What do you think President Obama's note will say? President Obama's note to Donald Trump. What do you think that it will say? 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line. 646-360-8 turnkey.pro text line.
What do you think it's going to say?
Well, I want to go back to the Clinton note to W first.
Bill Clinton wrote George W. Bush, "Dear George, the burdens you now shoulder are great but often exaggerated. The sheer joy of doing what you believe is right is inexpressible. Good luck with this office. You're in a rare club. Sincerely, Bill Clinton.
P.S. Discontinue the intern program.
P.S. I left something for you underneath the desk in the Oval Office.
Oh, gross.
Be sure to clean that
Yeah,
up.
hey, George, you may want to get a hazmat team into the Oval Office before you.
Be faithful to your wife. Oh, hey. There's other things. No, yeah, he said. No, it was a very gracious letter, but yeah, you can go on and on about what he really meant to write in the letter that didn't come up.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah, that's, if you're ever lonely, I mean, come on over to Chappaqua or have me down to the White House. I mean, I don't want to be alone with Hillary for the rest of my days.
Don't make your wife mad. But I like that. Discontinue the intern program.
So,
that's good.
President Obama's note to Donald Trump.
Well, they have been getting along. Then they didn't
Here's
get
a copy of my
along,
birth certificate. Here's my college transcripts. Everything you wanted. Here's all the documents you wanted. I hate whiteys.
Oh, he's He's probably going to tell him to think before you speak. Or what if he puts in there, can you please, out of respect for the office of the presidency, stop tweeting? What if he put that in there?
Yeah, right. He probably will offer some kind of sleep-inducing bromides and chiding, which is what he featured in his last press conference. I don't know. Interesting. Interesting what he has to say. I'm sure it'll just be, pleasantries, cocktail party pleasantries, because that's the depth of the intellect that we're talking about here.
You just have a few more hours left.
Why invest anything? Trump will just turn around and repeat it. Maybe if he says something nice, Trump will say, Trump will give a hat tip to Obama during the festivities, and he left me a very, very nice note. We're very, very good friends. I love him very much. We're getting along great. Everything's great.
Here's what I'll say, and then they'll be there when for a special ceremony after the inauguration. They all go to Andrews Air Force Base or the back of the White House lawn, and they are lifted up in a helicopter, the Obamas, and then they go to Andrews Air Force Base, and then they're going to spend a week in Palm Springs, California.
Maybe Obama will ask him to give him some golf lessons, because Trump turns out to be, he's a pretty good golfer. Obama, obviously, is a joke. I mean, he's a terrible athlete, generally speaking, and in golf in particular. So maybe you could ask him that. Maybe that's a way they could.
He's not too bad at basketball.
Oh, really? Did you ever see the video of him?
Club.
Did you ever see the video of him shooting hoops outside, in the Rose Garden area outside the White House, where he went
I think his pants were held up too high.
1 for 23. He
was just warming up.
He plays basketball in rolled up sweatpants like a chick.
Stop.
He is an embarrassment.
He's
horrific.
He's a little dorky, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, let's just establish a baseline of excellence here when it comes, or even competence when it comes to athletics. Good grief, he's not that bad. Michelle would dominate him in the paint. Are you kidding me?
She would box him out and he'd go flying. Woo!
She'd post up on him all day long. This is also interesting. I read these left-wing screeds so you don't have to. This one from Michelle Goldberg over at Slate. Democrats have finally learned to fight like Republicans. She's trying to bootstrap a rationalization for the boycott of the inauguration today by more than 1/3 of the Democrat caucus, nearly 70 Democrat members of Congress, as well as Secretary of State John Kerry, skipping the inauguration today. And she explains that look, Democrats are just tired of being gracious and not having the proper conduct and manners returned. You understand that that, for example, even going back to the George W. Bush presidency, Democrats didn't spend a lot of time saying George W. Bush was illegitimate. I think they're still saying it 16 years later. Instead, they moved forward to work on things to improve the country. They were responsible, and they didn't focus on the illegitimacy issue because Bush had lost the popular vote. But their good faith and decency was never repaid by Republicans, and that's why they're just up to their necks with it and can tolerate it no longer. Do you buy that?
So, Secretary Kerry, he's not going to the inauguration
No.
today?
Mm-mm.
What other cabinet members are skipping out? That's classless. I mean, even Hillary Clinton, who I'm sure is going to be very painful to be there today, and maybe she'll be drugged up just to cope with it, but she's going to the inauguration.
Well, here's the left perspective, as you get from a Michelle Goldberg over at Slate. Even though Bush lost the popular vote and assumed the presidency thanks to a Supreme Court ruling, most Democrats refrained from questioning his legitimacy, instead worked to shore up popular faith in our democracy. Is that what they did? I think that's a bit of a stylistic remembrance of that era. The attitude, then, let's honor the peaceful transition in our democracy. It's important, even though it came about in a very unjust way, said Lloyd Doggett, one member of Congress from Texas. Unjust way, I mean, that's the Electoral College. Democrats feel their good faith wasn't repaid. Their good faith wasn't repaid, are increasingly unwilling to remain bound by political manners that their opponents refuse to heed. They have realized that faced with an opposition with a limitless will to power, they cannot preserve collegial bipartisan processes alone. Is that what the Democrats did when they were in power? Preserved collegial bipartisan processes? Is that how Obamacare was passed? The limitless will to power on the right? Really? I mean, how thick is Michelle Goldberg's bubble? But it's fascinating to get an insight into what they think and how they rationalize this conduct to themselves. And Michelle Goldberg provides a little insight into that. A related story yesterday outside the Deplorable, this gathering at the National Press Club for Trump supporters, a couple of hundred professional agitators arrested, had to be pepper sprayed by police as they clash with police, because Democrats are unwilling to remain bound by political manners that their opponents refuse to heed, says Michelle Goldberg. Yeah, okay.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
They also had an event in New York City. Alec Baldwin, all those A-lister Hollywood celebrity types. You'll hear that coming up. But first, here's your forecast. Fog this morning, a touch of rain by this afternoon. It'll just be pretty cloudy all day, a high of 45 degrees tonight, a shower. And then the weekend looks cloudy both days, no rain forecasted, and it will be mild, a high of 55 on Saturday, and on Sunday we'll hit 50 degrees. Let's get into the traffic center. Any spin-outs on this slick morning? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, there was a crash on the outbound Kennedy at North Avenue that just cleared, but it's caused pretty heavy delays. Inbound, it's very slow from Cumberland to North Avenue. 47 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. And outbound, 40 minutes downtown to O'Hare, but it has helped jam up the inbound Ryan, where it is 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound Vaught at 15. Edens is 25 minutes, Lakewood to Montrose, outbound 20. The Eisenhower, heavier, 52 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 34. Stevenson's brutal, an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 50 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound just 35 minutes to 3:55. Northbound Tri-State delays, Harlem to the 83rd Street toll, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are light. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Donald J. Trump is about to be inaugurated as the 45th president, and a former Texas governor clears his path toward confirmation. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Wall Street will have normal activity today, but all of official Washington will come to a standstill at noon Eastern Time as Donald J. Trump is inaugurated as 45th President of the United States. Insiders say the new president will sign up to 200 executive orders between today and Monday, unraveling many Obama-era regulations and oversight of American businesses. One critical agency, the Department of Energy, seems likely to have a new head soon. Former Texas Governor Rick Perry sailed through his Senate confirmation and appears headed for easy confirmation. A leading Texas Republican, Texas House Speaker Joe Strauss, says a proposed law barring transgender use of public restrooms would be bad for business in his state. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape, that's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
Hey, did you hear what Dick Durbin is doing?
Nope, must have missed it.
Well, he's decided that rather than address the big issues like health care and taxes, he's going to play games with the Supreme Court. He may join a crazy effort to block a Supreme Court nominee forever.
That's so ridiculous. I mean, it made sense not to do anything with the court during the middle of the election, but now it's time to move on.
Totally. And what bothers me the most is it's like he's forgotten who he represents. I mean, crime is out of control right now. Just look at Chicago. Every single day, there's some horrifying new headline.
Yeah, and look what's happened downstate. The drug epidemic is terrorizing small towns. It's ripping families apart and turning the countryside into a problem area just like Chicago.
He needs to get it together. He needs to pay attention to us again and work on our problems. We have plenty.
Yeah, Dick Durbin shouldn't be grandstanding about a Supreme Court nominee and creating more gridlock. We deserve better than that.
Paid for by Judicial Crisis Network.
AM 560, The Answer.
So the anti-inauguration party hosted by Alec Baldwin in New York City outside Trump Hotel, Amy.
Yeah.
Featured what is becoming kind of a stale impersonation of Trump from Mr. Baldwin and also some real left-wing political speechifying.
Yes, here's the real stuff. Because you know what? His Trump impersonation was really, he's talked about having to go to the bathroom, you know, that whole bit that he did last weekend on Saturday Night Live. But he teamed up with Robert De Niro and other Hollywood stars to just remind everyone we're patriotic.
Donald Trump and Steve Bannon and Mike Pence and all these people that are part of the Trump administration, they think that you are going to lay down. Are you going to lay down? The one thing that they don't realize is that New Yorkers never lay down. You say whatever you want to about this city, and New Yorkers never lay down. Are you going to fight? Are we going to have 100 days of resistance? Fantastic.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I hope the resistance continues. I want them to be as shrill and unhinged as they are wont to be. Absolutely. And you're the Million Woman March, you know, which will probably be like, you know, 50.
How many do you think are going to show up?
I don't know.
I think everybody in Chicago is gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly.
So, but that Million Woman thing, which will be
fine.
some fraction of that, with these vulgar women with the P's on their heads.
Well, the
real classy. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Because you know what? You do what, unfortunately, the establishment part of the Republican Party is very afraid to do. Stoke the revolt. Keep stoking the revolt.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
This is the year. It's time to sell or buy your home. The realtor you choose should have experience and success. Hi, I'm John Wright of the Wright Real Estate Group. We've sold 1,100 homes in 142 towns and municipalities in Chicagoland. chances are you know someone who has sold or purchased a home from the Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams. Let our success be your success when buying or selling a home. The Wright Real Estate Group doesn't rely on celebrity endorsements to sell your home. We rely on results. When you're ready to buy or sell a home, call me, John Wright, at 630-407-1641 or log on to wrightrealestategroup.com. Sell or buy a home through the Wright Real Estate Group, and we'll donate $500 at closing to Food for the Poor to feed 10 children in your honor. Call 630-407-1641. The Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams. Moving at the speed of right.
Save big on winter travel during the Apple Vacations Great Winter Event. Explore the best beaches in Mexico and the Caribbean while Apple Vacations takes care of everything. Round-trip airfare, deluxe accommodations, all meals, drinks, and so much more. All you need to do is relax. This is an Apple vacation. Hurry, book by January 26th and save hundreds. 4 nights in Punta Cana at Ocean Blue and Sands start from only $8.99, or make it 7 nights in Riviera Nayarit at Rio Jalisco starting from just $8.99. Both trips include round-trip nonstop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Traveloni at 312-334-7876 or visit Traveloni.com. That's 312-334-7876 or Traveloni.com. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select departures starting February 6th, including exclusive vacation flights on Frontier from O'Hare and taxes and fees, including September 11 security fee. Some services are provided by other airlines. See applevacations.com for baggage charges. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape, that's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Fox News Channel's Brett Baier about fake news from the D.C. press corps in advance of Trump's inauguration today at 7:07.
And we are just hours away from Donald Trump becoming our 45th president. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a police officer killed in a Bloomingdale crash. We'll have the latest on that developing investigation. Chicago police officer charged with murder given monitored release. They're investigating a deadly crash that happened in Naperville as Republican lawmakers pitch the sale of the Thompson Center once again. Jimmy Butler is named an all-star starter for the Bulls. Fog this morning with a touch of rain. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
It may rain, it may not rain. I don't care.
But if it does pour on his inauguration, President-elect Trump jokes.
People will realize it's my real hair, and that's okay.
He just tweeted, I'll see you at 11 a.m. Eastern for the swearing in. The movement continues. The work begins. Fox's John Decker is now live outside the Capitol near where it'll all take place.
Here at the Capitol, under cloudy and drizzly skies, preparations have been taking place all morning for the inauguration of Donald Trump in less than 4 hours. Name placards have been placed on the seats on the inaugural platform for a host of dignitaries, including President Obama and former presidents Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush. The Park Service is expecting hundreds of thousands of spectators on the National Mall, but skipping this ceremony will be more than 60 House Democrats who are boycotting the inauguration. Dave?
And John, protesters are up early gathering in D.C. Hundreds were outside a party called the Deplorable last night, clashing with Trump supporters.
Trump and Pence are illegitimate.
The majority of people think that he's illegitimate.
And there was a big anti-Trump rally in New York City.
We're sending you a message from your hometown that you can try to turn back the clock,
but you won't turn back time.
Al Sharpton, Robert De Niro, Michael Moore, and Alec Baldwin all addressed the crowd. Italian firefighters now say there are 8 survivors found alive in the rubble of that hotel buried by an avalanche Wednesday as crews spent another night digging through the snow by hand at times. It's believed about 30 people were trapped inside. A notorious Mexican drug lord is now behind bars in New York, due in court later today.
Joaquin El Chapo Guzman arriving by plane in New York Thursday night. This after Mexico extradited Guzman, who escaped from their prisons twice. Mexican authorities say they were required to hand him over under international law.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. Guzman faces drug trafficking and other charges. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
7:02 in Chicago. Rain and 39 degrees. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are investigating a single vehicle crash in suburban Bloomingdale that killed a local police officer. Officials say the accident happened last night near Army Trail Road and Cardinal Avenue. Cook County judge is allowing a Chicago police officer charged with murder in an off-duty incident to be released from jail on electronic monitoring. The order handed down yesterday as Officer Lowell Hauser made his first appearance in court. Jose Nieves' sister spoke yesterday after the officer was charged with the murder of her brother in Cook County Court.
I will not stop, and I will fight for justice for my brother and for my parents as well, knowing that he was taken in the most horrible way and unjustified.
Prosecutors say the pair had an ongoing feud, and Hauser had pulled a weapon on Nieves last month. A 15-year-old boy is dead following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. The teen shot multiple times near 69th and Stewart. Officials have identified the badly burned body found this week in a parking garage in Chicago's River North neighborhood. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Lewis Cohen of Highland Park was discovered dead Tuesday morning in the 300 block of North LaSalle Drive. Cohen was a real estate attorney. His death is under investigation. Illinois lawmakers in Springfield are again floating the idea of selling the state's headquarters, an office building here in Chicago. Republican State Senate Leader Christine Radonio and others are suggesting the state sell the Thompson Center for about $200 million. It would actually spare the state from about $320 million in required maintenance. And a bus carrying a minor league hockey team was involved in a rollover crash. 3 are in serious to critical condition. The charter bus carrying the Columbus Cottonmouths of the Southern Professional Hockey League team overturned on I-74 near Peoria on Thursday. Firefighters had to cut holes in the top of that bus to remove those on board. The Bears have hired 3 new assistant coaches. Jimmy Butler is an All-Star Game starter for the Bulls in the NBA contest. And tonight on the NHL schedule, the Blackhawks are at Boston while the Bulls travel to Atlanta. The news service of Staples is your New Year's resolution to get new customers in the door. Staples Print and Marketing Services will help you promote your business with low prices on presentations and more. And you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity warns of more cyber attacks.
It's ridiculous that we're this far along. 10 years of hacking has taken place, and they haven't done a damn thing.
That ought to anger everybody.
Well, Hannity, you interviewed Julian Assange. He releases hacked information. He's telling us it's wide open. If we'd learned from it, he wouldn't have anything left to print. It's not his fault they're so stupid.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9-to-5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You wanna earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You'd make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? At Ford, we go further to make it protective by offering vehicles with the most 5-star crash ratings. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. 5-star ratings based among full-line brands offering multiple cars, pickup trucks, and utilities. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. Go to safercar.gov for details. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
7:06 and a check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro Union Pacific North Train 308 due downtown at 7:30. Stop near Waukegan due to mechanical problems. Inbound Edens has delays starting at Devon Avenue. 29 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 21 to Kennedy. Brutal starting at Cumberland. An hour and 2 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 21 minutes from Montrose. 22 in the Express. Outbound 28 minutes to Montrose. 41 to the airport. About Eisenhower. 57 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 44 from Manheim. Outbound 37 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 52 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound just a 1 minute delay. LaGrange Road to 294. The ride is 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound 15. Bishop Ford 33 minutes. 8094 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State, heavy approaching the 83rd Street toll, also slow approaching the Hinsdale Oasis, then around 290. No delays to report right now in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, morning fog with a touch of rain, otherwise cloudy and mild, high 44. An evening shower around, otherwise a cloudy night, low 42. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high 56. Then tomorrow night, an evening shower in spots, otherwise cloudy with a low 40. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are going to make America great again, and I'll add, greater than ever before.
When you look at the totality of his administration, you see a president who is committed to uniting this country, who's bringing the best and the brightest together.
My past statements made over 5 years ago about abolishing the Department of Energy do not reflect my current thinking.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
On top of the morning, Dan and Amy playing the role of President Trump. Today will be John Voight.
We have all been witness to a very grueling year and a half for the president-elect. We have been witness to a barrage of propaganda that left us all breathless with anticipation, not knowing if God could reverse all the negative lies against Mr. Trump, whose only desire was to make America great again.
Yeah.
His daughter Angelina Jolie wasn't watching that.
No, or at least she
Kansas
wasn't
Grandpa,
applauding.
Don't look.
Your favorite John Voight movie. Take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line. Favorite John Voight movie and or role, Amy?
Oh, man.
Quickly, come on. Come on.
Midnight Cowboy?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Watch that film class.
I'm a little
All right,
bit.
what about you? Go.
Well, I loved him in The Champ.
Oh, yeah. With, what's that?
Ricky Schroeder. Yeah, it was great. But I got to say, his best, this is not, a Voight purist will disagree with me on this. Mm-hmm. His best role was a supporting role in Heat.
Ah. Yes.
That was a cool role that he played. For more on John Voight's filmography, and maybe we'll talk a little bit Inauguration as well.
So we should mention that we're going to carry it live here at 10 a.m. on AM 560.
There you go.
Program note.
Thank you for mentioning it.
You're welcome.
For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by, my cursor's not working.
Oh, no.
Can you cue up Brett Baier for us so we don't leave him in purgatory any longer? Brett Baier, host of Fox News Special Report, 5 p.m., Monday to Friday, Chicago time. Brett, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. I think Mission Impossible 1.
Oh,
that's good. He was good in that. I mean, he's always good. That's what makes it an interesting conversation. Yeah. Huh. All right. Yeah, people will take your responses to Brett Baier, too. Feel free to vilify him for that John Voight suggestion. But that he was good in that. Brett
Or National Treasure, either one.
National Treasure. Right. No, not.
Wow.
No.
Now you're going off the deep end.
Yeah, that's because it had to be a good movie, too, and National Treasure doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brett Baier and I will do Men on Film a little bit later, but we should probably talk a little bit of inauguration. And just in advance of that, Brett, I've got to ask, because this continues to be part of the narrative surrounding Trump's presidency, fake news. And we had an unsubstantiated New York Times story about Rick Perry. We had the Washington Post with the rather unfair headline with respect to Sonny Perdue that he once prayed for rain. We had the USA Today pick up a tweet from a parody North Korean Twitter account and report that as a real response from the North Korean regime. And then we had CNN yesterday play out the scenario of what happens if every Republican in leadership, including Trump and Pence, are assassinated today. Jeff Zucker says it's Trump trying to delegitimize the D.C. press corps. It seems to me that at least some organs within the D.C. press corps are beating him to the punch.
It's really amazing to see. There is this Trump derangement syndrome that kind of has gone over some of the press, and they don't know the storyline to go with.
Yeah, Brett.
Let's see what.
I'm sorry, we lost you for a second there, Brett. You were saying that the Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, and they just can't go with this is a peaceful transition of power. And I think, the storyline, they're not willing to give, a little bit of find that thing. And when it pops up, and even if it's not accurate, it has been tough to go through some of these stories. I think today is going to be all about unity. The message is going to be about bringing the country together. It's not going to be a long speech, but it'll be one that he tries to look forward.
And how soon until he gets to work? I mean, at 12:01, he owns Obamacare, health care. He gets the nuclear codes. Do you think between 4 and 7 he's going to roll back some of Obama's executive actions? Executive orders?
I think he'll do 4 or 5 today, and I don't know exactly which ones. But his big day is Monday, apparently, to knock out a lot on signatures.
With respect to his speech today, it's been reported that the contents of the speech have largely been driven by Trump, with some, I guess, shoring up of the rhetoric by his speechwriter, Stephen Miller. So you kind of develop what you were saying before about your thinking that it's going to be unity. You think that's the chord that Trump understands he needs to strike?
Well, the core will be America first, but in that it will be unity. That a rising tide lifts all boats. I think it'll harken back to Reagan a lot, and maybe even a little Kennedy. But it's going to be about bringing the country together. I'm sure there'll be a Make America Great Again in there, but he'll get more philosophical than practical.
Hillary Clinton, many think it's graceful of her to attend the event today, considering they had such a contentious campaign. Do you think, I know you can't control the cameras at Fox News, but do you think that they'll be taking cutaway shots or ISO shots, as you say, to get her reaction to Donald Trump's speech?
I'm sure. Yeah, it's a pool camera, so I think the pool today is NBC.
Okay.
And everybody will have the same feed, but I'm sure that'll be part of the storyline.
Now, are you sure the pool camera won't still be fixated on Steve Mnuchin's fiancée?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
the photographer kept wondering, who's the hot blonde in the background?
So the unity call is going to dissipate pretty quickly, I suspect, because Trump has said that he will nominate a Supreme Court justice to fill the vacancy left by Antonin Scalia's death within the first 2 weeks, probably the week after next, the second week of his administration. That's what he has said. That combined with a couple of the cabinet secretary nominations that are still somewhat in doubt probably indicates that it's going to be pretty contentious right out of the gate. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, definitely. And the protest today will be significant, and then there's the Women's March tomorrow. I think, listen, it'll be very in your face about the pushback, but he's going to plow forward. 81% evangelicals voted for Donald Trump, more than voted for George W. Bush in 2004. They expect that Supreme Court justice to fit the mold of Antonin Scalia. And as far as the cabinet nominees, they're really not going to have any problem, as far as we can see, getting confirmed because of Democrats' move in 2013 to make the vote 51. I think Rex Tillerson possibly if Lindsey Graham, John McCain, and Marco Rubio all decide, but I don't think they will. I think the pressure will be on to get a national security team in place and moving.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're learning this morning that the total now is 60 congressional members. Democrats are going to be boycotting the event today. Who's going to be filling their seats? Do you know?
I actually don't know. We've been trying to get answers to that. I guess it's staff members. There were a number of efforts to, I know Laura Ingraham and her group, and there's some other efforts to get wounded warriors to take those seats.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
But I don't actually know.
Brett Baier, the book is 3 Days in January. This is about Dwight D. Eisenhower, his farewell speech to the nation, in part, warning of the military-industrial complex. It's a relevant topic today. Give us just a brief on where you are with your book tour. Do we have a Chicago date yet?
We don't, but I'm going to nail it down after today. I got to get through today. It debuted at number 2 on the New York Times bestseller list.
All right, who's ahead? Who's got to knock out?
Yeah.
Hillbilly Elegy.
Oh, it's still number 1.
It's still number 1.
Wow.
So I'm coming after you, Hillbilly.
All right,
Hillbilly
J.D.
Elegy.
Vance, the gauntlet has been thrown down, J.D. Vance. All right, very good. Brett Baier will help buoy that to number 1. 3 Days in January is the book. Obviously, watch Brett Baier. The Fox News covers the inaugural today, and watch him on Special Report, 5 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. Brett, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, fog to greet you this morning. Then a touch of
we
rain.
were talking about John Voight rolls. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt the weather. I know it's important.
It's very important.
847 best John Voight roll, Deliverance.
Oh.
That's a good one. I
You
mean,
know,
that's the thing with John Voight. That's
it's-
why it's fun, because so many good roles and so many good movies and series. I mean, he's great in Ray Donovan
Oh, yeah.
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
All right.
All right, the debate rages on.
May I continue? I did mention that there's fog this morning, some rain by this afternoon. A high of 45 degrees. Then this weekend, no rain, but it's going to be pretty cloudy out there, but mild. A high Saturday of 55 degrees. And on Sunday, we'll hit 50. Let's go into the traffic center. Busy man this morning on this Friday. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 22. The Kennedy is now an hour. O'Hare to downtown. Just 24 minutes from Montrose. 21 on the Express. Outbound 40 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 57 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 38 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35 minutes. Orion, 42 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Veterans Memorials, those 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Tollways in general, though, are lighter than normal. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
You know something else you mentioned about John Voight movies? I'm kind of stuck on this
John
topic
Voight
in case you
movies,
couldn't,
yes.
couldn't tell. Is Midnight Cowboy, you mentioned. Great movie, great role. I actually didn't like Dustin Hoffman.
You didn't
in
like
that
his
movie.
character, or you didn't like the way Dustin Hoffman portrayed the character?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, do you find yourself saying, if I only had more leads, or if I only had more prospects to sell? If that sounds familiar, then let me tell you about the Sales Prospecting Group. The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. They're a local Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business by getting them in the door. Now, the Sales Prospecting Group will get you appointments with qualified prospects to help you grow your business. They don't use contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, professional, and effective. Now, the Sales Prospecting Group will build a custom campaign specifically for your business. They know how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies to get you to the right people and to get you connected with them. And they specialize exclusively on B2B sales. So call the Sales Prospecting Group now to learn how they can help your business grow in 2016. The number is 630-701-9052. That's 630-701-9052. The Sales Prospecting Group, it's time to grow.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined. And Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in improved working conditions and safety. Find out how much your commercial business can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call 630-590-5138 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your problem, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So protests started last night at the gay dance party outside of Mike Pence's house on Wednesday night, then a couple hundred people. But clashes with police last night outside the Deplorable at the National Press Club, where police had to use pepper spray to push back the professional bedwetters.
Yeah, they did, because these people would not let the people that were going to the Deplorable in or out of the event without a fight. And they even stalked them on the way home when they were leaving. There were small fires set in the streets. Again, they pepper sprayed and dozens of people were arrested. I mean, that's Washington police. They're going to have their hands full this weekend. 99 groups have signed up, have gotten permits to protest. And a big group is coming from Chicago.
And Chicago is also home to Hop Leaf Bar in Andersonville. I want to give them a shout out. Hopleaf Bar in Andersonville, where that's a Trump-free zone today.
A Trump-free zone. So is this a
Trump-free zone.
sanctuary restaurant, or is this
Yes.
just today?
Yes, sort of.
Is it Trump-free zone?
And Hopleaf is going to donate 10% of beverage sales today to Planned Parenthood. Now, I would suggest, of course, that they donate that 10% of beverage sales today to razors for their patrons. And if you know Andersonville and Hopleaf Bar, then you'll get my point.
Oh,
but nonetheless.
Stop it. But also near Andersonville is the hat knitters, the pea hat knitters. They've been working around the clock.
Classy ladies.
Well, they've been working around the clock. They're knitting hats, and they're getting on that bus to go protest.
This is a march for women's rights and the rights of all marginalized population. But at the same time, if you believe in women's rights, if you believe in civil rights for all individuals, there is no reason why you cannot march with us shoulder to shoulder.
Unless you're pro-life. So unless you believe in rights for unborn children, because then you're not allowed.
So wait, are they not letting pro-lifers join the march on Saturday?
They threw the feminist pro-life group out. We talked about that.
Yeah.
So,
I just thought maybe they reverse course, but they're brainwashing some kids.
Why would they reverse course? This is who they are. These are women wearing pea hats on their heads.
It's a form of solidarity. They're pink too.
That's a nice picture to memorialize for your daughter and your family. I hope that goes on the mantle at home. That's not vulgar. They're not hysterics. No, they're not barbarians.
Well, they're brainwashing kids, young kids. Here are some CPS students who weren't even old enough to vote.
We are here to stay, and we have our rights, and we're going to both protect them, defend them, and create new rights.
Create new rights?
Even though I can't vote, I still want it to be known that I care and that I do have a voice.
Create new rights, of course. This is old hat for CPS, don't you know? That Marxist terrorist FALN member, Oscar Lopez Rivera, that Obama pardoned.
Yeah.
Commuted a sentence, January 17th.
He's got blood on his hands from 4 who were killed in New York. But yeah, go on.
This Armed Forces of National Liberation, this Puerto Rican independent terrorist organization, was founded. The godmother, as reported by the Chicago Tribune in 1980, is a woman named Carmen Valentin, who was a Spanish teacher in CPS at Tully High School in Wicker Park. She was pardoned by Bill Clinton. And Obama, following that tradition, pardoned another terrorist, Oscar Lopez Rivera.
Well, Democrat Bill Clinton did offer Oscar Lopez Rivera to be pardoned, but he wouldn't do it back then because he wanted everyone in his group to be pardoned.
And I just want to make mention of these freedom fighters, these inspirational political dissidents, if you believe the posture of the left, protesters. This is what Ms. Valentin said in declaring war against the United States and threatening a U.S. District Court Judge, Thomas McMillan. Quote, "You're lucky we cannot take you right now." Then she turned to police in the courtroom. This was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
"You'll be walking with canes and wheelchairs. Revolutionary justice can be fierce."
Little mouthy there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Little cocky.
Tully's successor is what high school? Clemente. You'll remember about 20 years ago, Clemente came under fire for using $1 million in state poverty grants to support FALN activities at the school. That's the storied history of terrorist organizations and CPS. And then we can get into the storied history of terrorist organizations like the Weathermen and institutions of alleged higher learning like UIC, which employed Bill Ayers, or Northwestern, whose Family Law Center employed Bernadine Dorn. This is who, though you hear from those kids who don't know anything, those skulls full of mush, as Rush would say, getting, as you said, indoctrinated by CPS teachers. What goes on in CPS, this hotbed of communism and ignorance? I repeat myself. It's been going on for a long time. This is just the latest iteration of it.
When you were a kid, didn't they play the inauguration during school, the inaugural speech? Because I got that, but they're not doing that at CPS today.
Yeah, I went
because it doesn't fit their narrative.
I went to Catholic school and education because my parents wanted me to learn a thing or two.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Turnkey IT, they are the best, locally owned and operated, great family business, and they really care about their customers. And they help your company's IT partner. It's more than just a place when you call when you're having a computer problem. Today, IT is beyond just hardware and software. IT is about a relationship between technology and the people who work with it. And that's where Turnkey IT is different. They're an IT company and a people company. They help people use IT better. People need help from computers and servers to cloud-based systems, cybersecurity, advanced phone systems. People also need help finding out what's out there and how to implement exactly what they need, all with the support of an experienced team that resolves issues quickly. People remember the good experiences they receive when working with Turnkey IT. Shouldn't your business receive the same white glove treatment? See what other AM 560 listeners already know about Turnkey IT. Local, reputable, compassionate, experienced. It's easy. Just visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey IT does it better. Get it? Visit turnkey.pro right now. And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What are Steve Forbes' hopes and dreams for the Trump administration? We'll ask him at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're getting word from Italian officials this morning that 8 have been found alive in the rubble of that massive avalanche that buried a luxury mountain hotel in central Italy. Rescuers are still digging through a wall of snow to try and free some survivors. Incoming President Donald Trump has a full schedule on his first day on the job. He and Vice President-elect Mike Pence and their families have already arrived at a church service. There is a White House tea and then to the Capitol for the swearing in, which you can hear live beginning at 10 here on AM 560, The Answer. Today is the day Donald Trump becomes the 45th president of the United States, but it's also a big day for senior advisor Kellyanne Conway.
I think it's a fresh start. It's like a gut renovation, not even a fresh coat of paint. Brand new president, vice president.
Yesterday, the president-elect promised to make good on some key campaign promises.
And we are going to make America great again, and I'll add, greater than ever before.
Apparently, President-elect Trump now has a favorite football team, and it's not the Jets and it's not the Giants. He's wishing the Patriots well in this weekend's AFC title game. Last night, Trump praised New England quarterback Tom Brady and head coach Bill Belichick, choosing the Patriots over the Steelers. In other stories we're following this morning, notorious drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman faces a U.S. judge today after being secretly extradited to New York City. Officials have identified the badly burned body this week found in a parking garage in Chicago's River North neighborhood as a Highland Park real estate attorney, Louis Cohen. And authorities are investigating a single-vehicle crash in suburban Bloomingdale that killed a local police officer at Army Trail Road and Cardinal Avenue. The Bears have hired 3 new assistant coaches. Jimmy Butler is an all-star starter for the NBA. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is disappointed in today's university.
I don't think that 1 out of 1,000 college graduates knows about the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan.
I do believe that they know about carbon emissions, however. That is what they're taught. And, of course, they're taught about white privilege. Every college kid is taught about white privilege. It's a sick place, the university.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Everyone craves the comfort of a good night's sleep. That's why Serta Perfect Sleeper Mattress helps solve 5 common sleep problems. You'll be so comfortable, you'll never count sheep again.
Hey, Sean Hannity here with some exciting automotive news. Nissan dealers in the Midwest are set for a record-breaking year in 2017. Now, demand is going to be way up, but room must be made at local dealerships, just like Woodfield Nissan in Hoffman Estates. And the good news for you is this is your chance to save big on all the remaining 2016 Nissans. Woodfield Nissan has a huge selection of 2016 Nissan Altimas, Sentras, and Rogues now available at clearance pricing. Get Woodfield Nissan's lowest price on a Nissan Sentra, clearance price for only $12,995. A 2016 Nissan Rogue clearance price for only $15,995, and a 2016 Nissan Altima clearance priced at $15,295. Woodfield Nissan has a massive Nissan inventory and massive Nissan savings all month long. The real 2016 Nissan year-end clearance has begun and is for a limited time at Woodfield Nissan, just 2 miles west of the Woodfield Shopping Mall at Golf and Higgins, or just go to woodfieldnissan.com.
Prices are plus tax, title, license, and doc fee and are pre-driven. Stock numbers Rogue number P9045, Altima number P9110, Sentra number P9111.
7:37 and a check of the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Mike, the inbound Kennedy has delays starting at Canfield. It's an hour and 3 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 39 minutes. Eden's 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 41 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35 minutes. Ryan, 39 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, it is bottled up from around Hollywood to North Avenue. There was a crash mixed in earlier. Northbound Veterans Memorials, though 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Roosevelt to St. Charles. Traffic service of Staples. Is your New Year's resolution to get new customers in the door? Staples Print and Marketing Services helps you promote your business with low prices on presentations, signs, and more. And you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Fog and rain this morning, cloudy and mild this afternoon, high 45. 39 light rain showers officially at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So people discussing hopes and expectations of the Trump administration. Interesting rundown in the Wall Street Journal today of some accomplished thinkers chiming in on this question. Charles Koch. Now is the time to reverse our nation's trajectory toward a two-tiered society that benefits the wealthy and well-connected. That's Charles Koch, one of the world's richest men, saying that. Very interesting because we saw this on display this week with Betsy DeVos during her hearing for Education Secretary, her confirmation hearing. Betsy DeVos also part of a very successful family, very wealthy. And what's been her focus the last 30 years? Opportunity scholarships, better educational options for poor children, disproportionately poor minority children. Another individual who's done very well in life, very successful, who's also spent most of his life through media properties and other channels advocating for opportunity for those that don't have it, talking about this two-tiered system that Charles Koch is referring to, advocating on behalf of the so-called deplorables that upended the Democrat hegemony in D.C. is Steve Forbes, and we're pleased to have Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief Forbes, also, of course, former Republican presidential candidate and co-author of the book Reviving America, join us now. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
So why don't we start there, kind of flying off of what Charles Koch and others had said. What are your hopes and expectations for the Trump administration?
Well, I think the new president's going to be made it very clear he's going to do big things right from the start. health care, get rid of Obamacare and get more patient-oriented policies in, where the patient's in charge, not Washington bureaucrats, get off the backs of small businesses, deregulation, and also a pretty big tax cut. And I think he wants to move fast on the tax cut. And the one fly in the ointment in all of this comes not from the Democrats, but from the Republicans on the tax front. The Republicans in the House of Representatives, at least some of them like Paul Ryan, as part of this tax bill they want a big new tax that's going to tax American consumers $110 billion a year. They call it the border adjustability tax.
Yeah.
Try to get your mouth around that one. And it's going to cost American consumers more money. Like you go to the gas pump, this new tax will raise your gasoline prices 30 cents a gallon. And they say, well, we need the money for tax cuts. Well, I've got a message for these guys. One, if you do a good tax cut like Reagan did, the economy improves and you get revenues. And number two, guys, how about doing a little heavy lifting on restraining wasteful spending?
I want to explore this with you because we've had this running debate with Steve Moore on this very topic of the border adjustment tax. And you have a good free market conservatives divided on this. It's like Moore and Laffer on one side and people like you and Larry Kudlow on the other side and many others. And one of the arguments that Moore makes is essentially this is to, quote unquote, level the playing field, always a dangerous phrase when it's employed, particularly by conservatives. That usually is an indication of a sellout coming. But the idea that how American companies are taxed by foreign countries as opposed to how America taxes those who are importing goods into this country. And this is part of, Trump's, I would say, neo-mercantilist philosophy. It's consistent with that, but this is a way to blunt the impact of just doing straight-away tariffs, as Trump has shown some openness to. What do you say to that in response to that argument?
Well, one, in terms of trade abuses, you can do specific remedies for specific trade abuses. We have remedies on the books. Obama never used them. And if we need new ones, we can get new ones for specific problems. But to punish all of the American people, consumers, because of some trade abuses by the Chinese is ridiculous. Why are we raising prices for all of the American people? That's what this so-called border adjustment tax means, 30 cents a gallon at the pump. You go to Target, you go to a Walmart and other stores, you're going to pay more. You buy cars, you're going to pay more. So to get back at foreigners, we're going to punish American consumers. That is just bizarre. And there's another part of this border adjustability tax is they're going to subsidize exporters. So if you sell $1 million a piece of machinery to Iran, that $1 million is tax-free to you. So we're going to give tax-free benefits to the Iranians, the Chinese, and others, and we're going to punish American consumers. I just think that's the wackiest thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And what do you think about Donald Trump? Whenever he tweets about a company, their stock prices, they don't bottom out, but they fall precipitously. Is that fair to that one American company, whether it be Ford or Chrysler?
Well, what I think he's been doing there is just focusing on that there's going to be new focus on investment in America. And he knows that trying to get companies not to go overseas, that'll have some success. But the key thing is, and he knows this, if you reduce the corporate tax rate in this country, which is now the worst in the world, developed world, from 35% down to 15%, we become a magnet for investment. We reduce other tax rates. We get off the backs of the American individuals, and you'll see money pouring into this country because we'll be like we were in the 80s, a place in which good things, innovative things will be happening. Not only will it mean keeping more of what you earn, but it means we're going to have more job creation, better job creation, and we've done this before, and I think Trump wants to do it again. And why muck it up by putting in a new tax, which is, when the Democrats get back in, as someday they will, they're going to run wild with this thing like they have in Europe with the value-added taxes.
Trump has kind of turned the left's traditional class envy politics on its head, really marginalized the political effectiveness of that outside the Beltway. A concern I have is that it still has currency with some Republicans who are less than stout of heart. Do you see the real threat to the Trump policy agenda coming from Democrats playing their usual games, as you've seen in these confirmation hearings? I mentioned at the outset with Betsy DeVos playing class envy politics, billionaires and all that jazz. They don't mind their billionaires, but they don't like our billionaires. Is that the real concern, the real threat, or is it from weak-kneed establishment Republicans?
It's the latter, weak-kneed establishment Republicans who are starting to get a little timid. Oh, we've got to go slow. We can't go too fast. And I think Trump will have zero tolerance for that kind of thing. But you see it with that. With Obamacare, it would take 3 years to do it. No, you start now, and you build month by month. But you start right now. Do big. Same thing with tax cuts. And the last thing you do on the tax front is divide your own base. One group of people against another group of people. Boeing loves this new border adjustability tax because it means they'll be tax-free for decades to come. So why divide your own forces on a new tax when a little bit of spending restraint and a good tax cut, this economy gets moving? And the American people don't much care what the Congressional Budget Office says about these things or what Paul Ryan says about these things. They want to know, is my paycheck going up? Are my job prospects improving? And if you get a good tax cut through now, make it retroactive to Jan 1, by golly, people will see right away. Things are moving in a new, good direction.
What do you think is the most likely unanticipated threat, that economic crisis, if you will, that will visit Trump in the next 4 years? I'm thinking about the student loan bubble. I'm thinking about unfunded pension liabilities at the state, local level. I'm thinking about, frankly, re-blowing up the housing bubble 7, 8 years later. Doesn't seem we've learned the lesson of Fannie and Freddie completely or even partially. Those areas, and then unfunded liabilities with entitlement programs at the federal level too. Which of those areas, or maybe one that I didn't mention, do you think is getting to critical mass and is going to have to be dealt with in a material way by this administration?
Well, you're going to have, talking about crisis, you're going to have foreign crises. The Italian banks are in trouble. Greece is in trouble again, so you may get a blow-up overseas. And here at home, we know about the student disaster, which is why I think Betsy DeVos is going to be an excellent education secretary and stop the rising bloat in the administration of American universities, among other things. And in terms of unfunded liabilities for things like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, if you have a booming economy, that gives you the assets and the wherewithal to make positive changes for younger people. You don't have to take away benefits from people who are on these programs or about to go on them. And on health care, if you get a more patient-oriented health care market, a lot of those rising costs will stop. You see it in little areas right now like LASIK surgery for eyes, which is less today than it was 10 years ago because you don't have all this bureaucracy in between the patient and the doctor. You see it in cosmetic surgery. You see it in other areas. I'll just give you one little quick example. In Oklahoma, there's a hospital called the Surgery Center of Oklahoma. Huge place, very successful. But you know what they do? They don't take insurance. Their costs are so low and the quality is so high that the state of Oklahoma is now urging its own state employees to do surgery at this center because it's cheaper than what they can get on Medicaid. And that is what.
And with the Oklahoma Surgery Center, I'm sorry to interrupt. With that center, I'm glad you brought that up. They also have a menu of prices. I mean, the way you've distilled the healthcare problem in America is great. You've got this kind of 2-point way of describing it that I've stolen and used as my own, which is two things. One, in every other business in America, when you have more demand than supply, that's called an opportunity. In healthcare, we call it a crisis. And then, every other business in America, what the price is. The customer knows the price of a good or a service. It's only in healthcare where we have no idea. Nobody knows.
That's right. And just one little example. A few months ago, I was in New Hampshire, met with an entrepreneur who was told a couple of years ago by a cardiologist he needed a thing called a nuclear stress test, some kind of heart stress test. And he asked the doc what it cost. The doc said, don't worry, it's covered by insurance. This guy went out and got prices in the New England region from 25 different clinics and hospitals. And you know what the prices range from?
What?
$1,400 to $7,300.
Right, right.
And that's why you need transparency. And that's where I think the Trump reforms will move in that direction. And so patients start to find out what they're getting for their money, which is all to the good.
He is Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief, Forbes Media, former Republican presidential candidate, co-author of the book Reviving America. Steve, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan. I really like it. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope to have you back soon. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
A new year means a new Glock at the absolute lowest dealer prices. In January, Shrink Smoke & Gun is offering dozens of Glock models at great savings, like the Glock 43 9mm single stack pistol for only $449, and the Glock 26 Generation 4 9mm double stack for only $539. And Shrinks is proud to announce there is now a Glock Blue Label dealer offering reduced Glock prices to law enforcement, military, EMTs, and firefighters. Remember, with the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County, you'll avoid the Cook County firearm and ammo tax. For gunsmithing, you can count on family-owned Shrinks. Cigar lovers, be sure to check out Shrink's extensive cigar selection. So visit smoketheletterN.gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Shrink Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. All that's missing from the left's vaudevillian transition out of power is for the president, their senators, and media handmaidens to don horn-rimmed glasses and grease-painted mustaches. Those are my principles, and if you don't like them, well, I have others. The Groucho Marx impersonations abound. It's bad for Russia to laud Trump. That makes him Putin's Manchurian candidate. It's good for Cuba to laud Obama. That makes him a humanitarian. Senator Elizabeth Warren is quite worried about the Trump family leveraging the federal government for private gain. Senator Elizabeth Warren was indifferent to Hillary leveraging the State Department to fund the Clinton Foundation for the private gain of the Clinton family. It's wrong for the Trump team to threaten to kick CNN's Jim Acosta out of a press conference for being disruptive. It was a non-event when the Obama team kicked conservative outlets off his campaign plan for being conservative. It is compassionate when Obama opens the door to Central American refugees seeking asylum. It is compassionate when Obama closes the door to Central American refugees hailing from Cuba, also seeking asylum, in order to appease a communist dictatorship. If the left didn't have their situational ethics, they would have none at all.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Sean Hannity warns of more cyber attacks.
It's ridiculous that we're this far along. 10 years of hacking has taken place, and they haven't done a damn thing.
That ought to anger everybody.
Well, Hannity, you interviewed Julian Assange. He releases hacked information. He's telling us it's wide open. If we'd learned from it, he wouldn't have anything left to print. It's not his fault they're so stupid.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on the success of businesses that use Turnkey.
You know, our customers are successful because they use us. They become more successful, I think, if they rely on us. I think our best customers are the ones that bring to us any problems that they have and their vision. We're not only just your IT firm, we can become part of your business, and if you rely on us, you're going to see results. If you just use us for the 10% that is just computer support, you're not going to get what you really can get, because if you dig deep and you rely on us and truly trust us to be your IT department, we can take your business places that you've never seen before. And, you know, do all of our customers do that? No, but they should.
Go all in for 2017. With Turnkey's All In, you get the works. Not only unlimited help desk and on-site support, disaster recovery, and virus protection, but new hardware across your entire network, installed and implemented seamlessly every 4 years. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the big day has arrived.
And as the Trump Center and Episcopal Church, Amy's pastor is turning into a pillar of salt, we'll have Amy's review of Melania's fashion at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy, Indiana police officer killed in Bloomingdale, and a crash investigation is underway. Republican lawmakers pitched the sale of the Thompson Center and Jimmy Butler, an all-star starter. Rain and fog. Full forecast after Fox WIND Chicago News Time. 8.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They can't wait for the Trump inauguration.
I came from Attica, New York. I represent Western New York. I came here to witness the first day of Trump getting America back to we the people.
And this man drove all night from Chattanooga.
He's going to be the best president since Ronald Reagan.
President-elect Trump's now at a prayer service at St. John Episcopal Church. He tweeted earlier, "The movement continues, the work begins." Fox's John Decker is live outside the Capitol.
While final preparations take place on the inaugural platform in front of me, President and Mrs. Obama will soon be welcoming President-elect Donald Trump and his wife Melania to the White House for tea, a tradition that dates back decades. Both couples will then motorcade from the White House to the Capitol for the inaugural ceremony. Mr. Trump's inaugural speech is said to last 20 minutes and will touch on the theme of unifying America. A luncheon with members of Congress will follow the swearing-in ceremony, and then Mr. Trump and his family will watch the inauguration parade from a viewing stand directly in front of the White House. Dave?
Now, John, 69 House Democrats refused to watch him being sworn in and will skip the inauguration. Thousands of protesters have converged on Washington. Fox's Kevin Rincon is out among one crowd live. And then we've lost our connection with Kevin, but he's out, and there are a lot of protesters that are outside the National Mall gathering at checkpoints. It's been a disorganized protest, Kevin told us earlier, and as the morning goes on, the crowds will get bigger. Several thousand expected to be around the Capitol. There are tens of thousands of law enforcement officers securing the inauguration and the parade. One big concern: lone wolf attackers who might try to drive a truck into crowds like in France and Germany. In Melbourne, Australia, a man drove into a crowd of pedestrians today, killing 4, injuring 20, but they do not believe it was a terrorist act. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
A shower in 39 degrees, a slow crawl to work this morning. Jim Telemonte with all the details on that morning commute coming up in our AM 560 traffic center in just a moment. But first, authorities are investigating a single vehicle crash. It occurred in Bloomingdale early this morning and killed a local police officer. The accident happened near Army Trail Road and Cardinal Avenue while the officer, according to police, was responding to a call. Cook County judge is allowing a Chicago police officer charged with murder in an off-duty incident to be released from jail on electronic monitoring. The order handed down yesterday as Officer Lowell Hauser made his first appearance in court. Jose Nieves' sister spoke on behalf of the family after the officer charged with murdering her brother appeared in court.
I will not stop, and I will fight for justice for my brother and for my parents as well, knowing that he was taken in the most horrible way and unjustified.
The veteran officer is accused of shooting Nieves to death earlier this month. Prosecutors say the pair had a long-standing, ongoing feud. Imprisoned former U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert wants one of his sexual abuse victims to return the $1.7 million in hush money that the Illinois Republican paid him. A filing in a suburban Chicago courtroom this week made that request on Hastert's behalf in an ongoing civil case. Meantime, the 75-year-old is serving a 15-month sentence in federal prison for violating banking laws as he sought to silence the victim. Hastert's lawyers say the man broke his agreement to stay silent by talking to federal investigators. Bears have hired 3 new assistant coaches. Jimmy Butler will be an all-star starter along with LeBron and Kyrie Irving of the Cavaliers. On tap tonight on the hardwood, the Bulls are at Atlanta while the Blackhawks battle Boston. The news, a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast? If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, General Electric's earnings for the recent quarter are weaker. Wall Street was expecting a decline. GE has been aggressively cutting costs in its oil and gas unit. It's in the process of combining it with Baker Hughes. Procter & Gamble reported a better-than-expected quarter. P&G makes Downy, Pampers, and Pantene, among many other consumer products. SunTrust Bank's profit declined in its recent quarter. The company says it was dealing with higher expenses. Soon you'll be able to have your Panera Bread order delivered to you at home or at work. Panera is already delivering from some locations. Goldman Sachs is upgrading Panera Bread stock to buy and says the new delivery service will boost its business. The Dow closed down 72 points on Thursday. The Nasdaq dropped 15. The S&P lost 8, and futures are flat this morning. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next. on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center this Friday with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's heavy on the inbound Kennedy with delays starting at Harlem. An hour and 11 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 39 minutes from Montrose. 30 in the Express. Outbound 34 minutes to the airport. The Eden's 22 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 27. The Eisenhower. An hour and 23 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. An hour and 5 minutes from Manheim. Outbound it's 51 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35 minutes. The Ryan, 40 minutes from 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is bottled up from Hollywood to North Avenue. Tri-State northbound delays from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, 47th to 31st. Very slow from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Veterans Memorial, it's slow out into the Reagan Tollway. Butterfield to Roosevelt, and Army Trail to 290. The other tollways are okay. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Areas of fog for the morning, then patchy fog for the afternoon. A touch of rain today and a shower in the area for the evening. Otherwise, it will be cloudy today and tonight with a high 44 and a low tonight of 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of tax and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are going to make America great again, and I'll add, greater than ever before.
When you look at the totality of his administration, you see a president who is committed to uniting this country, who's bringing the best and the brightest together.
My past statements made over 5 years ago about abolishing the Department of Energy do not reflect my current thinking.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Optimism is in the air, and so is a little mean girl-ism.
Oh, will you stop it?
Optimism, Fox poll, 66-30. Americans optimistic about the future as President Trump is inaugurated today. And as they entered the Trumps, an Episcopal church.
Yeah, St. John's Episcopal Church. Did you hear that? He's Episcopalian a little bit. I mean, he's Presbyterian, but he was married for the third time in an Episcopal church. Attended
anything goes
church
at
service.
the Episcopal.
Yes, at the Episcopal Church, and now he's at St. John's.
Yeah.
About to go and have tea time with the Obama.
And Pastor Bonnie at that Episcopal cult that you attend may be turning into a pillar of salt as we speak. But you were very critical Off air, and I'm not letting you get away with it off air. You have to
come on,
share
what
it. You have to
stays
share
off
it.
air is off air.
No. This is something that has a shareable component
right,
to it.
well-
you are very critical of Melania's getup.
Yeah, at first it looks as if she's replicating Jackie Kennedy.
Yes.
But then if you look at the Eurotrash shoes and the blue gloves, what is she thinking?
That is a hate crime in Slovenia.
Oh my God. You say Slovenia, I say Slovenia, but whatever. Yeah, so it's hopefully she'll, jazz it up a little for tonight's inaugural ball.
The blue,
the balls.
Her smartly.
It looks like a after dinner mint blue.
And that's equally refreshing because I think that blue outfit with the white shoes, she reminds me of a cloud and in terms of being positively celestial. She's a dream.
As you said, who's the old man next to her? Oh, wait, that's Donald
that's the
Trump.
President of the United States.
Yeah.
I got confused for a moment. I'm an old man myself. For more on what's happening on the ground in D.C. on this Inauguration Day, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Marianne Ahern, political reporter for NBC5 in Chicago, who is in Washington now, as I mentioned. Marianne, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Of course. Glad you got the fashion report out of the way.
Yeah, well, I wanted you to arbitrate the disagreement between us and
I actually just got an email update that outfit is Ralph Lauren, in case you wanted to know.
That's right. How dare you? How dare you criticize a Ralph Lauren outfit, Amy Jacobson?
I don't think he designed the shoes.
You're going to be blacklisted at RL. I'm going to make sure of it. So give us a sense of what's happening on the ground in D.C. as we prepare for the transition.
All right, weather report first, because unfortunately it's starting to rain. It's supposed to rain throughout the morning and through the parade. So that's going to make it a little difficult for folks, but you do see crowds of people lining up to get through the security. We have stopped inside for just a moment to collect our batteries and all of that and head back out again. But it's difficult to compare because 8 years ago, it was the guy from Chicago, so we could find Chicago people to, walk outside the door, and there they were.
Right.
Hello, hey, we're not going to see as many Chicagoans. However, we have certainly run into, just walking along, we've met folks from Palatine, New Lenox yesterday. Not all of the Illinois delegation is running away. Congressman Brad Schneider, newly elected to the 10th District, he's here. He's going to talk to us later on this afternoon. Congressman Foster has decided that he will be here. Many of them will also participate in the Women's March on Saturday. So they're trying to, play it right down the middle.
I hope it doesn't rain on Saturday because that Women's March will get real gamey.
Oh, we use
that
is Marianne. He is so mean. I know that there's not a lot of Chicagoans there for the inauguration today, but they are there for the Women's March. How many people are you expecting? Because it was supposed to be called the Women's Millions March. And now it's just been changed to the Women's March because some men are coming too. But how many do you think are actually going to show up?
They claim 200,000. So we're going to stay here through that. So we'll see lots and lots of buses of folks leaving today from Chicago to make their way here. Others, of course, flying. Even at our hotel, and let me tell you, we're out in the burbs. We're not close by. We ran into women from Chicago this morning from Rogers Park who said, hey, we're here. We're here for the march. We booked our trip ahead of time thinking that Hillary Clinton would win, and we decided, hey, we're staying and we're coming anyway to witness history.
Yeah. Now, what's the security like? We talked to press secretary for the Inaugural Committee the other day, and he basically compared it to the security perimeter and protocols at the RNC in Cleveland. You've covered a lot of conventions and inaugurations. Is that a good kind of handle on it? It's very similar. There's a perimeter established and checkpoints and so forth. Is what you see on the ground there any different than that or any different than previous inaugurations?
This seems tighter than the previous ones, only in that they've extended the perimeter. But, boy, you need to put some stock in that fencing company. I mean, the fencing is amazing, all around the city that has blocked it off. We were dropped off not too far, maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from our workspace. It's pretty close to the Capitol. And just getting here, well, usually it's a 10, 15-minute walk. It was definitely much, much longer than that today. There aren't the crowd. 8 years ago, they claimed at 1.8 million. You know, it's always those crowd estimates. Are they correct? Today, they're saying perhaps 1 million. That would be tops. I wonder how the rain might affect it as well.
Now, on the security, just one more security question. Have you heard whether or not they're going to duct tape Hillary to her seat out of security concerns?
No, I've not heard that.
I'm just kidding.
Is that something you're hearing?
No, I'm just making that
But
up.
don't you think it's graceful of her to show up? I mean, it's got to be painful for her. And I know that Dan's not a Hillary fan, if you can't tell already.
No.
But I mean, I give her credit for doing this. I mean, it's the right thing to do, but it doesn't make it less painful.
Right. Even Sean Spicer was asked this morning on one of the morning shows of, what do you think the response will be when she is introduced? And might that be a difficult moment, you know, if folks are yelling the lock her up kind of thing as she comes walking in? There's going to be some of that. I mean, you know, no matter what, when you've got nearly 1 million people, not everybody's on their best behavior.
Right.
But come on. Hey, she had been the first lady. I give her credit for coming, but she should be here. Why not?
Now, have you been able to get an advance copy of Barack Obama's note that he's going to leave behind, as presidents do, outgoing president to the incoming president, the note that he's going to leave behind for Donald Trump? You got to get your hands on that.
Exactly. I think my best little tip of the day is yesterday in a cab ride. The cab driver said to us, guess what? I just saw Malia Obama driving a car with a friend and a couple Secret Service agents, and she went to Potbelly.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
That's
awesome. On her
awesome.
last day at the White House, the food wasn't any good. She had to just run out and get just one last sandwich.
Well, they get their freedom back.
Yeah,
they do.
exactly.
I mean, they
right.
get to make their own food. They get to have their own
Been
life.
longing for Potbelly for 8 years.
So, what do you know about the farewell service? When do the Obamas walk, or the Trumps walk the Obamas to the helicopter?
Right after the swear, after the speech. I mean, after the new president's speech, the outgoing president and vice president, the new president and vice president walk them through the Capitol. And the helicopter is there, Marine One is there, but there is some wonder of how bad the rain might be at that point, whether they actually will chop her out of here. But so probably, you know, maybe close to noon Chicago time. The swearing in is just a little before 11 Chicago time. So right now they're still at the church. Then they come over for the tea. Apparently the farewells the Obamas have given to the staff. And from all reports, that can be somewhat emotional. And then, you know, the wild 5-hour move-in of, you know, at noon. While the boxes are ready to go, they really can't do it until noon Eastern time. And they have some paintbrushes, and new curtains are coming into the Oval Office. Apparently they have books and books to choose from of artwork and desks that are available and other furniture. And they say, all right, switch it up. Take it out, bring it in. And they have it all done by 5 o'clock.
A lot of gold, I expect. A lot of gold. What's on your itinerary, Marianne? Are you going to, like, the Illinois State Society Ball?
So Carol and I are both here. Carol's doing the TikTok of the day. Here's the events, and I'm out talking to the folks on the street and lining up, you know, the Illinoisans, looking for any Chicagoans who are here, as well as elected officials who will make their way to us. It's not going to be an easy day of getting around.
No, a lot of walking. And what about Illinoisans such as Congressman Luis Gutierrez and Jan Schakowsky? They've decided not to attend the event.
Dan Lipinski, who may suffer some political blowback for that in his district. Yeah.
Ooh. So where are they? Are they having a?
They're here. Some of them are still here, but they're not attending, and they are participating in the march tomorrow, the Women's March tomorrow.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Marianne Ahern, political reporter for NBC5 Chicago, who is in D.C. to cover the inauguration. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Have fun out there.
Yep. She's one of the best, and she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you see Carol Maureen's piece last night? And at Channel 5 at 6 o'clock. It was so biased that I had to message a higher up saying, how could you let this go on the air? It was disgusting.
Oh, the Bouvier sisters run that place.
The Bouvier sisters. Marianne Ahern is not as biased as Carol Maureen.
I like Marianne.
Yes, we love her. Today, fog, then some rain, high of 45 degrees. And then over this weekend, it's going to be mostly cloudy both days. Mild, though, a high of 55 degrees Saturday, and on Sunday, 50. Let's get those travel times. Let's see. How's the inbound Kennedy doing, Jim Telemonte?
Well, Amy, you might not do any better walking around the mall this morning in Washington because it's a slow drive on the Kennedy. The delay started Harlem. It is an hour and 11 minutes right now from O'Hare to downtown. It's 39 minutes from Montrose and 30 in the Express. Outbound 34 minutes downtown to O'Hare. The Eden's not bad. 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 27. And there's the Ike. It is the king. An hour and 23 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Hour and 5 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 51 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, just 35 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Stop and go Hollywood to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State Heavy Archer to 31st. And from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial from Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt. Army Trail to 290. But the other tollways are delay-free, and Northwest Indiana's fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Save big on winter travel during the Apple Vacations Great Winter Event. Explore the best beaches in Mexico and the Caribbean while Apple Vacations takes care of everything. Round-trip airfare, deluxe accommodations, all meals, drinks, and so much more. All you need to do is relax. This is an Apple vacation. 3 nights in Riviera Maya at Rio Palace, Mexico start from only $7.99. Or make it 3 nights of unlimited luxury at the adults-only Secret Silver Sands Riviera Cancun starting from just $8.99. Both trips include round-trip nonstop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Traveloni at 312-334-7876 or visit Traveloni.com. That's 312-334-7876 or Traveloni.com. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select departures starting February 5th, including exclusive vacation flights on Frontier from O'Hare and taxes and fees, including September 11 security fee. Some services are provided by other airlines. See AppleVacations.com for baggage charges. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. I'm reaching out to you today and asking you to take a look at your business relationships from a different angle. Have you ever wondered what organizations and causes your vendors support? I have, and it's eye-opening. Our nation is divided, and normal, traditional values are coming under attack by heavily financed aggressors. I can tell you that we do not and will never support hood and matter. We do support our veterans, our students fighting for truth, and yes, AM 560. If you currently use or need a payroll service, please let's meet. If you have no need, please consider the other advertisers on this station, as we are all fighting the same fight and we need to unite. To work together, call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. On the web at precisionpayroll.com. Let's talk, let's meet, let's unite.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy getting a lot of reaction to the Joan Rivers of politics over here, Amy Jacobson, and her mean-spirited assault on the lovely Melania Trump.
I'm just saying I expected a little bit more. The outfit is very nice, but the blue gloves and the silver pumps looks a little Euro trashy. Oh my gosh, I'm so rude. What is wrong with me?
Now you've done it. You've done it again. You've doubled down. Joan at Midway, you're on Chicago's Morning. Joanne at Midway, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Amy, please be nice. Just because you don't like Trump, don't hate Melania. I thought she looked beautiful.
Me too.
It was a gorgeous color. She looked elegant and regal. A real first lady who dresses up nicely in the White House.
Thanks for the call, Joanne. I'm wearing my pillbox hat today in solidarity with Melania.
The pillbox hat comes out during the swearing-in part.
Yeah.
Trust me. That's why her hair is up in an updo. No, I mean, she's a gorgeous woman. She's smart. She speaks 5 languages.
Would you be more pleased with the Trumps if they would commute the sentence of one former Illinois governor who's still got 9 years left?
Yeah, she'd be the hottest thing in Washington, D.C. if that were the case. But last night, too, she wore a gorgeous gown. Did you see it?
No, I
It
did
took
not.
my breath away when she walked.
I can tell. It just took your breath away now thinking about it. Yeah.
It was nude colored, and it fit her body. She's got a rocking body. I mean, that woman is gorgeous.
Take
She's
it
a
easy
former
over there.
supermodel.
Yeah. Hey, get a hold of yourself.
But this is coming from the same woman who thinks Michelle Obama is absolutely gorgeous. And I can't wait to see what Michelle's going to wear today.
And I'm
too.
sorry, what is your weight estimate on Michelle Obama? As you
Two bills.
2 bills? 2 bills. Gorgeous.
Well, she's tall.
Yeah, she's 6'9".
Tall people. No.
She's like 6'8", 6'9". She's like Tony Preckwinkle size. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. You know, the Slovenian flag's got a big blue horizontal bar, and then underneath it a big red horizontal bar, and there's some sort of crest. I don't know, what, some creature with feathers. I don't know. But maybe she's just wearing a touch of the hometown color. Plus, my wife always gets mad at me because I think Michelle Obama looks like a pug.
Oh,
that's
no,
so
no, not in the
mean.
last day, Ralph. Come on. No.
Michelle Obama is gorgeous.
Why are you laughing when you say that?
Because you and Marcus Brown, he didn't think she's good looking either.
Well, I mean, it's I don't like to make fun of Michelle Obama in terms of her appearance.
there's Obama.
What she says is a different thing. Is that
rock star President
Oh
Obama?
my God! It's like I've got Chris Matthews in the studio.
Let me finish tonight with the American president we're about to lose. Barack Obama is, above all, a fine man. Just look at him. Is there a husband, a father that we would wish more as a model for our sons, for our sons-in-law to have and raise our grandchildren? Is there anyone who carries himself better in word and sentiment and temperament and optimism?
Just Mike Scott's the only one I know who's better. But I mean that.
No, for a man who didn't even know his own father, President Obama is an amazing father to his 2 daughters.
The thrill has returned to Chris Matthews' leg, and it's running all the way to Chicago.
There's Joe Biden and Jill. They're leaving the Oval Office for the final time. President Obama and now Jill and Dr. Jill Biden and Vice President Joe Biden.
What do you think of Dr. Jill? Doctor. She's not a medical doctor. She's a doctor like Dr. Tom Davis was a doctor. What do you think of Jill Biden's outfit?
It's spectacular.
Not Joe, Jill.
Well, she's got on a white raincoat. I don't understand why people wear white. After Labor Day, you're not supposed to wear white until Memorial Day.
It's tough.
So I'm faulting her on that, too.
At least you're
fashion fouls.
Equal opportunity critic. Look for Amy's reviews of the inauguration on the E! Channel this weekend.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
I don't know how to break this to you, but you're wearing white.
It's winter white. It's
because it's got the faux fur on it?
Oh, this is real? No, it's a little off-white, okay?
Winter is coming.
Hey, but if you want to have some summer-like conditions, come with us. Dan Proft, Joe Walsh, Amy Jacobson, as we head out of town to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. We'll be staying at the beautiful Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa, unlimited luxury resort that just opened in November.
I want to get my breasts augmented. What is that, Joe Walsh? What is that? What is he on?
It has 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, serving unlimited premium drinks.
Well, we're in Mexico.
Not Mexico, Dominican Republic to Punta Cana. There's great pools at this resort. It's brand new. It really has all the bells and whistles. Go online, see for yourself, and you'll want to join us as we head to Punta Cana. Get more information and book your trip this weekend by visiting 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. The trip is filling up, so don't wait. And the price that Apple Vacations has secured for us is incredible and exclusive to us. So book it now, 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, he didn't get away with it, so he wants his money back. The Denny Hastert story at 8:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy Glamour magazine says you can wear white after September now. I'm just saying, the definitive Bible of fashion says white is now okay after
You've just
September.
been served.
39 degrees outside, a shower outside. And we're watching incoming President Donald Trump with a full schedule for his first day on the job. He and the Vice President-elect Mike Pence and their families are starting the day with a church service and then a White House tea. Then they will head to the Capitol for the swearing in that will happen here on AM 560. The Answer. You can listen in beginning at 10 this morning. And then, of course, there's a congressional luncheon, a parade, and all of the inaugural balls tonight. Yesterday, the president-elect met with supporters and other high rollers who helped bankroll his campaign and promised to make good on his campaign promises.
And we are going to make America great again, and I'll add, greater than ever before.
That was a welcome event at the Lincoln Memorial yesterday. Here in Chicago, authorities are investigating after a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed on the south side. The teen was shot multiple times last night near 69th and Stewart. Authorities investigating a single-vehicle crash in suburban Bloomingdale that killed a local police officer. It happened last night near Army Trail Road and Cardinal Avenue. And President Barack Obama leaving office without granting early prison release to former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. The president releasing a list of his final acts of clemency, and the list did not include Blagojevich, who is in year 4 of a 14-year prison term after being convicted of trying to trade an Illinois seat in the U.S. Senate for campaign favors, cash, and other inducements. The Bears have hired 3 new assistant coaches. The Cavaliers and Warriors will have 2 players in the NBA All-Star starting lineup. The Bulls have 1, Jimmy Butler. The news, a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Promo code RISK. Save 10%. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the president it's time to worry about other things.
But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
Mr. President, you got to just pack. You just got to pack your bags. You got to pack up the furniture. You just got to pack up your furniture. You got to get the movers all lined up. You're moving out. You're not going to retaliate against Russia.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hey, Sean Hannity here with some exciting automotive news. Nissan dealers in the Midwest are set for a record-breaking year in 2017. Now, demand is going to be way up, but room must be made at local dealerships, just like Woodfield Nissan in Hoffman Estates. And the good news for you is this is your chance to save big on all the remaining 2016 Nissans. Woodfield Nissan has a huge selection of 2016 Nissan Altimas, Sentras, and Rogues now available at clearance pricing. Get Woodfield Nissan's lowest price on a Nissan Sentra, clearance price for only $12,995. A 2016 Nissan Rogue clearance price for only $15,995, and a 2016 Nissan Altima clearance priced at $15,295. Woodfield Nissan has a massive Nissan inventory and massive Nissan savings all month long. The real 2016 Nissan year-end clearance has begun and is for a limited time at Woodfield Nissan, just 2 miles west of the Woodfield Shopping Mall at Golf and Higgins, or just go to woodfieldnissan.com.
Prices are plus tax, title, license, and dog fee and are pre-driven. Stock numbers Rogue number P9045, Ultima number P9110, Sentra number P9111.
It is 8:35. Let's check our roads this morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is stop and go from Austin to the Burn Circle. It's an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 38 minutes from Montrose, 29 in the Express. Outbound 12 minutes to Montrose, 33 to the airport. Eden's 21 minutes, like Cookie Junction. Outbound 25. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, an hour and 3 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 45 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 13 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34 minutes. The Ryan, 37 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford still heavy at 33 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Lawrence to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State, there's scattered slow pockets from the 83rd Street Toll to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to 290. Veterans Memorial, heavy 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Fog this morning, a touch of rain, clouding and mild, and a high of 45. Currently 39. Next news coming up at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1 Hour, together with Mike Rowe, encouraging you to choose licensed technicians to service your home. Call 1 Hour today, 855-1-HOUR.
Dan and Amy, sticking on the fashion beat here for a second. Mike Scott informs us Kellyanne Conway is wearing something that resembles a Continental Army uniform.
Oh.
And so I assume the Democrats are going to immediately accuse her of trying to overthrow the government.
Oh, yeah.
It's a revolution.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have them here, by the way.
You have what
I
here?
have the letters. Patty Blagojevich.
Well, hold on. Wait a second. We'll get to that. We got an
right,
Ann B. Davis bowling ball tweet I've got to get to here.
Okay, Dan.
That takes precedence. If the inauguration is delayed by rain, tweets Ann B. Davis's bowling ball, is Jason Hayward there to will Donald J. Trump through it? Oh, it's pretty good.
Oh.
You see what he did with the rain delay. And speaking of the waterworks, this just brought to my attention. Remember how global climate change was going to result in more destructive storms and hurricanes were all going to be Katrina in scope and devastation? This report, U.S. landfalling major hurricanes going back to the administration of Rutherford B. Hayes. So that's about 150 years worth, 140 years worth. Barack Obama is the first president since Benjamin Harrison in the late 1800s to have 0 major hurricanes make landfall during his term. So again, what they say and versus what happens, this is why you pursue the scientific method when you talk about science and understanding what's happening, and you prove up repeatable results and your models have predictive value. You can't just say the debate is over, the science is settled, and we're not going to pay attention to the data that is retrieved. Just a little interesting side note, especially against the backdrop of the confirmation hearing of Scott Pruitt at EPA. And, let's see, climate change came up at the CIA confirmation hearing for Mike Pompeo. So the religion of the left here is running into some data set problems. Just wanted to make note of that, given the last day of the Obama regime, which elevated the importance of climate change and demagogued the issue, and right up to the farewell address he gave at McCormick Place, where he was talking about these forthcoming climate change refugees that were going to create instability the world over. Just an interesting little data point.
Mm-hmm. And right now, Donald Trump, Mike Pence on their way to the White House, where they're going to have tea. They have their tea time with the Bidens and with the Obamas. 1 hour and 20 minutes until Donald Trump is sworn in as the 45th president of the United States. And you can hear live coverage beginning at 10 a.m. right here on AM 560.
By the way, I don't know if you saw in the break room, we've got Freedom Donut Holes here.
We do.
Freedom Munchkins to memorialize the transition of power. the
From the bakery,
restoration
yes, and
of freedom, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. How many did you plow down?
I've had 3 cinnamon. Synonym.
Oh, Dan's got a little
3
sugar high.
and you're the one who couldn't have one because your system will reject it. I mean, that's how fragile you are. Your system can't
French
handle
fries.
a donut hole. 3 cinnamon.
Thank you.
And one with a white frosting on it, which was exquisite.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of?
What? Heaven?
Melania.
Stop it.
Resplendent in her white frosting.
But President Obama's last full day in office, he commuted the sentence of 330 low-level drug offenders. He commuted their sentence and did not pardon or commute the sentence of one Rod Blagojevich. And Patty Blagojevich released the letters last night that Annie and Amy wrote to Barack Obama
And these
asking for leniency.
These are who?
Annie and Amy Blagojevich are Rod's 2 daughters. So Annie's the youngest. I'll just read highlights. Dear Mr. President, my name is Annie Blagojevich. I'm writing to you to ask you to please let my dad come home.
No.
I am 13 years old, and he has been gone for so long now that I can barely remember what it was like to have him home. I don't remember, though, how safe and protected I felt when he was home. Not like now, when sometimes I'm scared because it's just my mom and me at home alone because my sister is in college now.
And Grandpa gets into the booze and comes over and
I don't really understand all the legal stuff. I just know that for a while we were really happy. I'm going to cry. And then all of a sudden my whole life fell apart.
Yeah. Well.
It has been bad for so long because we are always trying to get my dad home and are always disappointed. Mr. President, we need your help. My dad needs your help, and my sister and I need your help. Otherwise, I will be 21 years old when he finally comes home.
Mm-hmm. P.S. Could you please return the $1.7 million in hush money that Denny Hastert paid the guy he molested? Because he wants that back, too. I mean, just sticking with the Illinois Combine, you know, and setting everything straight. You saw that Denny Hastert, he didn't get away with it, so he wants his money back.
I mean, how ludicrous is that?
It's completely
tell me
ludicrous.
How great, you had a great analogy
ludicrous.
earlier about going to your bookie or something.
Well, first of all, I mean, the level of shamelessness or the depths of shamelessness, I suppose, this is just off the charts. He's, by everything we know, is that this is somebody who has abused children. That's what we know to be true from allegations that have been leveled against Hastert and essentially an admission he made during his elocution. Essentially making that. And in addition,
5 of them.
In addition to that, his lawyer is shameless. His lawyer should be subject to sanctions for even attempting to file this complaint. If you're alleging that it was extortion, that is not a legally binding contract. So a court is not going to take up a black market contract. That's what he's essentially alleging. This was hush money. I was extorted, so I want my money back because I didn't get away with it, which is it's kind of a staggering argument in and of itself. But it's astounding that he would try to recover the money while alleging it was an illicit contract, an unenforceable black market contract. It would be like me, hypothetically speaking, of course, saying to my bookie, I won a bet. My bookie didn't pay me. I'm going to court to make a judge tell my bookie to pay me. I'm sorry, sir. That's unenforceable because you were illegally gambling. You see what the problems are here? They're manifest and multiple, and that is, of course, always the case when we're talking about Illinois politicians, whether it's Jailhouse Rock Boy or Hastert.
And keeping you up to date on the latest in Washington, D.C., the Trumps have arrived, and they are meeting with President Obama and Michelle Obama, posing for a photo op right now. Michelle Obama not as dressed up as Melania Trump, and they brought with them a gift in a blue box. That's what the Trumps brought for the Obamas. What's inside the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Whose head? Frank in Tinley Park.
Yeah, I'm not sticking up for either one of these knuckleheads, Hastert or the blackmailer, but we all pay taxes. Is this blackmailer pay taxes on all this money that he's gotten
We
since high school?
We have no idea, but he was not charged with tax evasion. That's the extent of what we know. Thanks for the call, Frank. Sean in Elmwood Park.
First off, the Hastert thing is very upsetting, and I'll tell you why. How many days is that fat pedophile scumbag going to spend in prison? and you have
15 months.
Blagojevich. I'm going to tell you something. I don't agree with Blagojevich on any level, but 14 years for what every one of these politicians does. Granted, he got caught, and I know your position, Prof. He's wrong. Fine. 14 years, he's been in there how long? And we free an FALN terrorist over 130 bombs just because some Puerto Rican congressman says, let him out, I'm a socialist too. So the level is outrageous. So I'm ordering my free Pookie Blagojevich shirts, and we're going to start distributing them for a small capitalist charge and fee. But this whole inauguration thing, and to compare Melania and Obama, Michelle Obama. First of all, she's going to New York, and she's not going to say a word. She's my favorite. Just sit there and shut up. I don't want to hear any lunch programs, and I don't want to pretend you, Amy, she's gorgeous. What, are you kidding me? I'm ready for her to pull a Tootsie right now. Rip the rug off, because I haven't seen Patrick Ewing in 8 years, and I got a sneaky suspicion.
Thanks for the call, Sean, as measured and thoughtful as always.
Did you say Tootsie?
He said Tootsie. He's accusing Michelle Obama of being Dustin Hoffman in drag. I think that's
yes.
Sean's contention.
She's wearing a very frumpy number today too. It's maroon, just in case you're wondering, and a full length gown.
I mean, you've been vicious. How about look? I mean, you're so focused on the women. I mean, I'm tired of women being judged for how they look, Amy, and what they wear. Where is the review of Donald Trump? Where's the review of Mike Pence?
You don't even look at men when there's gorgeous women around. Women stare at other women to see what they're wearing, what their hair looks like. We don't care what the men look like.
I don't even know why
You're
I go
white
through.
Noise. We don't even.
Why do I go through the trouble every morning of teasing my hair and getting all spruced up, wearing some of our leading designers? You don't even notice.
No.
You don't even notice. It's not worth the trouble anymore.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
And in closing, Annie Blagojevich wrote, I hope you feel like, okay.
You know, the real reason the only reason I'm disappointed Blagojevich's sentence wasn't commuted, because now we're going to have to hear you whine about it for the next 4 years, hoping Trump will do something about it.
Because Trump will do something about it, because they're friends, and he met him on The Apprentice. Enough time served. Let him out. Fog this morning, just cloudy, gray. Yes, another gray day in Chicago, but it will be mild. 45 degrees for a high. Tomorrow, it's going to be 10 degrees warmer, a high near 55 degrees. And on Sunday, mostly cloudy, yet again, a high of 50. Let's get into the traffic center. Any big tie-ups on the roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Well, hey, man, you're inbound Kennedy. Things have gotten a little bit better. It's still very slow from Austin to the Burn Circle, but it's just under an hour, 59 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 38 from Montrose, 29 in the Express. Outbound 11 minutes to Montrose, 30 to the airport. Edens, 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, and outbound 23. But the Eisenhower's, an hour and 22 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. An hour and 5 minutes from Manheim, outbound 40 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The worst of it is from the Ryan to the Drive. The outbound side's clear. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Lawrence to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State, some slow pockets from 83rd to 31st. Nothing too bad, though. Veterans Memorial, a little heavy, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The website is upstream-ideas.com. Go there and sign up today to receive premium content that complements what we do here on this show. Podcasts of selected interviews, long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers. This week featuring Steve Cortez, Trump campaign surrogate, part of Trump's National Hispanic Advisory Council. 60-second commentaries. Podcasts of our Sunday program, Illinois Rising, done in conjunction with the Illinois Policy Institute that focuses on Illinois politics and policy. Follow the Logic Man on the Street interviews this week featuring attendees to Obama's farewell address at McCormick Place. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest-growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so George W. Bush and Laura Bush have arrived. I believe it's also been reported that they scraped Jimmy Carter up from a bus stop at DuPont Circle and brought him over to the White House.
No, he came in a Prius.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He did.
Of course. He's an Uber driver now.
Oh,
but
I have to tell you,
Laura Bush, you high marks from our fashion diva here.
Stunning. She is wearing a two-piece. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm really getting into this, but she's wearing a two-piece suit. I know. I told you Michelle Obama's dress was frumpy. You're realizing it right now for the first time.
Well, it also goes almost all the way down to the ground.
Well, to her, and it just shows the ankles. I know it's very frumpy.
It's
Anywho,
very
back to
flattering.
Laura Bush.
Ooh.
I mean, she's wearing a light blue two-piece dress skirt outfit with a beautiful beige raincoat on top that lays beautifully on her. So I'm very impressed, and her hair looks gorgeous. She's just a stunning. Have you ever met Laura Bush? She has the most piercing blue eyes I've ever seen on anybody.
No, I saw W and Laura when I was in Dallas last month when I went to an SMU basketball game. They were there. Yeah.
Oh.
But we just waved across the court.
Oh, I'm sure. And then you do one of these, call me.
No, I waved, and then Secret Service came over and said,
Yeah.
please, sir, don't make us remove you from the stadium. Greg in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Call. Dan, you have the privilege and honor of watching Amy blush as I pose this question to her.
Uh-oh.
Miss Amy, now this is a little bit before your time, perhaps being so young that you are.
Oh, boy.
To resurrect the Nixon phrase, deep in your heart, aren't you glad we've got Donald Trump?
Oh.
Thanks for the question, Greg, and the
I've
historical reference.
When I woke up this morning, I felt hopeful. And I felt excited, which I didn't expect to feel. But I've been looking forward to this. I love all the pageantry and the tradition, the tea in the morning. But I'm okay with Donald Trump. I'm willing to give him a chance. I don't like things that he's done in the past, but I'm going to support him. And I'm going to continue to pray for him. And I'm going to continue to pray for those that surround me, that they don't set a tone of resistance for the next 4 years.
And
that they'll leave it on the field, that tomorrow they're going to let out all their anger. They're going to shout and scream and pout and kick the ground. And I respect them for all going because I have different groups going. But then when they come back, I want them to have a softened heart.
Oh, sure. Hark for Juliet Speaks with a pea hat on her head. Here's the...
I'm an optimist.
You should pray that the hate that is in their heart is alleviated. I agree with that. A follow-up question, though, are you going to keep an open mind about Melania's wardrobe? Because you've been very tough today. Been very tough this morning.
I have been, and I'm sorry. And it's just stunning. It's just the silver shoes and the blue gloves took me for a loop. I'll try to be more open-minded about that.
It's a new day, morning in America, as it were.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's a great American story. The company started with just 2 cars, operating out of a spare room in a house in the western suburbs. With hard work and making every customer important, 47 years later, A1 Airport Limousine is one of the largest transportation companies in America. Wouldn't you or your company like to do business with a company that shares your American values? Try A1 right now and say, "Give me 10." Get 10% off your first trip. Individuals, groups, airport runs, companies, any transportation need, small or large, A1 is the A1 choice. They're reliable, professional, and on time. Call now and say, "Give me 10." 10% off your first ride. 630-833-3788. 630-833-3788. Or book online and ask for the 10% discount at a1limousine.com. Give your business to a business that shares your values. A1 is the A1 transportation choice.
Mike Gallagher tells the president it's time to worry about other things.
But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
Mr. President, you got to just pack. You just got to pack your bags. You got to pack up the furniture. You just got to pack up your furniture. You got to get the movers all lined up. You're moving out. You're not going to retaliate against Russia.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, did you hear what Dick Durbin is doing?
Nope, must have missed it.
Well, he's decided that rather than address the big issues like health care and taxes, he's going to play games with the Supreme Court. He may join a crazy effort to block a Supreme Court nominee forever.
That's so ridiculous. I mean, it made sense not to do anything with the court during the middle of the election, but now it's time to move on.
Totally. And what bothers me the most is it's like he's forgotten who he represents. I mean, crime is out of control right now. Just look at Chicago. Every single day, there's some horrifying new headline.
Yeah, and look what's happened downstate. The drug epidemic is terrorizing small towns. It's ripping families apart and turning the countryside into a problem area just like Chicago.
He needs to get it together. He needs to pay attention to us again and work on our problems. We have plenty.
Yeah, Dick Durbin shouldn't be grandstanding about a Supreme Court nominee and creating more gridlock. We deserve better than that.
Paid for by Judicial Crisis Network.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about Balance of Nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
I'm a big supporter of the product. 2 winters ago, I had, between November and March, I had 5 head colds, and each time it was like a 2-week ordeal. Last winter, with your product, I didn't have a single one.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Just a few hours left until the peaceful transition of power and Donald Trump becomes your 45th president of the United States. And you can hear full coverage. We begin at 10 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, enjoy the inaugural today and enjoy the grumpy old menopause march tomorrow.
We're back here on Monday at 5 a.m. Thanks so much again for making us a part of your week. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
The very latest coming up at the top of the hour from Fox News on developments in Italy and in Washington, D.C. This morning, we'll have the latest on inaugural preparations. A police officer here locally killed in a Bloomingdale crash. Edward Sisco will be named the new corporation counsel for the city of Chicago. We'll tell you why. Jimmy Butler named an all-star NBA starter. Fog and rain this morning. Full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.